Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Thursday, May 29th, 2025, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App $sign ORIONNWSF or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got the Washington Nationals versus the Seattle Mariners. First pitch is going to be here in roughly 5 minutes. So let's cue up the music, take a look at the thumb, and let's get into these starting lineups. Happy Thursday, everyone. And on the thumb, on the left, it's the left fielder stud, James Wood. And on the right, our center fielder, Julio Rodriguez. Now let's get into the starting lineups here for the visiting Washington Nationals. Leading off for the Nationals at shortstop, C.J. Abrams. Batting second, playing left field, James Wood. Batting third, playing first base, Nathaniel Lowe. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, catching today for the Nats, Keibert Ruiz. Batting fifth, playing second base, Luis Garcia Jr. Batting sixth, DHing for the Nats, Josh Bell. Batting seventh, playing center field, Robert Hassel III. Batting eighth, playing third base, Jose Tena. And batting ninth, playing right field, Dalen Lyle. And on the mound for the Nationals with a 2-5 record, an ERA of 3.47, it is Mackenzie Gore. Shout out to James Wood for hitting homers in each of the first 2 games in the series. He is the best player on the team. Can he go 3 for 3 with homers in every day in the series? We will find out. And now let's get into the starting lineup for your Seattle Mariners. Leading off for the Mariners at shortstop, J.P. Crawford. Batting second, playing center field, Julio Rodriguez. And I love that they made the adjustment and put Julio in the 2-hole and moved Jorge Polanco lower in the lineup. It's like they watch this program. I fucking love it. Batting third, catching today for the Mariners, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Batting fourth, batting cleanup, left fielder, Randy Arozarena. Batting fifth, playing second base, Dylan Moore. Batting sixth, playing first base, Donovan Solano. Batting seventh, DHing for the Mariners, Jorge Polanco. It's the first time that he's been this low in the lineup, but he has cooled off, and I think this is a very smart move for the Mariners. Batting eighth, playing right field, Leody Taveras. And batting ninth, playing third base, Ben Williamson. And on the mound for the Mariners with a 2-2 record, an ERA of 5.95, it is Emerson Hancock. Let's go, Emerson. Let's go, baby. And we're going to be shooting for 20 likes within the first hour, 50 overall, and 100 in the donos on every single stream. Cool kid in the building. What's good? This is a global broadcast on FS1, and obviously not many games on the MLB circuit. This is the last game to obviously start here tonight, and a lot of eyeballs will be on this game. Hopefully the Mariners will be able to win the series, which I feel they will. Magic number will be 4 to 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits. We're wearing the City Connects tonight. Again, record with them isn't the greatest, compared to last year, but I definitely feel that the bats will come alive. And if Emerson Hancock can give up 3 runs or less, and we can score 4 to 5, we should be good to go. Even if the bullpen ends up, giving up a home run or an RBI here or there. Let's go, baby. Tridents up. Let's go, Mariners. ready. And the way that this series has gone down was very unexpected. You know, in the first game, we had Logan Evans go 8 innings, and we ended up winning 9-1. You know, a lot of Mariner fans were feeling pretty good. Then you go into yesterday's game, right, and George Kirby getting his second start of the 2025 season coming off shoulder inflammation, and he looked terrible. And we ended up losing 9-0. So again, you know, something's got to give. I assume that this will be somewhere in the middle. You know, hopefully it'll be something like 5-3 or something like that. But hopefully the Mariners can pull out the dub so we can win the series. On the mound here for the Mariners in the top of the first, Emerson Hancock. And in the box, shortstop, C.J. Abrams. And we're very good in rubber matches. You know, again, I believe we're 7-1. So, again, when you end up having those type of numbers, even with Emerson Hancock on the mound, we feel pretty good of our chances here tonight. First pitch from Hancock to C.J. Abrams, and he swings at it, fouls out to Ben Williamson, 1 away. There we go. I like that start. Down goes C.J. Abrams on the first pitch. Nice job, Emerson. Next up, the best player on the team, homered in Game 1 and Game 2, left fielder James Wood. First pitch from Hancock to Wood, takes a strike looking with a four-seam fastball, 93 miles an hour, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, high and away with a sinker, 94 miles an hour, 1 ball and 1 strike for Emerson Hancock. Come on, baby, let's go. One pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and 1 strike to James Wood. Let's go, baby. Limit the damage on him. 2-1 pitch, high and away. 3 balls and 1 strike from Hancock to Wood. Let's go. Top of the first inning. We're knotted up here at 0. Mariners with the City Connects, and they're looking good here tonight. 3-1 pitch, and a walk. That's better than giving up a homer, and hopefully we can end up getting a double play here with the next batter. Next up for the Nats, here in the top of the first with 1 out, first baseman in the 3-hole, Nathaniel Lowe. Let's go, Emerson. See if we can get a slow dribbler right up the middle to J.P. Crawford, and a nice smooth throw to first to end this inning, at least for the Nats. First pitch, high and away with a four-seam fastball to Nathaniel Lowe, 1-0 count. Steph in the building, what's good? Must-win game, and we will win today, 100%. Anna in the building, what's good? Top of the first inning, runner at first, 1 out. Emerson Hancock on the mound, Nathaniel Lowe in the box. And we have Bryce Miller making his return back here very, very soon, which is great to see. Bryce Miller will start on Saturday. Woo Friday against the Twins. Saturday, Bryce Miller, welcome back. Hopefully he's good, not like George Kirby. And then Luis Castillo La Piedra on Sunday. So we still need to be able to bring back Logan Evans, maybe for Emerson Hancock at some point. I know we do have Logan Gilbert, you know, on the mend, and he'll be coming back pretty soon as well. But it's just kind of crazy for me to think that, you know, Logan Evans, you know, I know he's a AAA guy, but he definitely deserves to be a part of this rotation, whether it's 5 guys or 6 guys. If that means that, you know, he needs to be Logan Evans over George Kirby or Logan Evans over Emerson Hancock, I think that we could agree that would be the smart move, at least for now, until George Kirby gets better. 1-0 pitch, fouled off right down the middle. 1 ball and 1 strike to Nathaniel Lowe. 1-1 pitch, fouled off again, right down the middle. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Hancock to Lowe. Let's go, Emerson. I believe in you. You're definitely not as good as Logan Evans, but you know, he's been better, you know, in the last few starts compared to where he was at the beginning of the year. 1-2 pitch, high and inside. Four-seam fastball out of the zone, 94 miles an hour. 2 balls and 2 strikes with a runner at first and 1 out. James Wood with the walk at the previous at-bat in the 2-hole. We need a slow dribbler right up the middle for a double play so the Mariners can get into their batting order. And 2-2 pitch and a big swing and a miss. Down goes Nathaniel Lowe. I like that. Emerson Hancock with a punch out in the first inning. Yes, please. Keep it going, my guy. Nice job, Emerson. I see you, Em. Next up, catcher Keibert Ruiz. And now hopefully we can just get a pop-up from Ruiz, and then we can get into our batting order. But I really like the adjustment from Dan Wilson and the team by moving Jorge Polanco down for the first time this season. When we talked about it last night on the stream, that we felt that he should go down somewhere, probably 5 to the 7 hole, and that's exactly what they did. It's like they watched this program. And again, having JP lead off with Julio in the 2 hole, Cal in the 3, that gives us the best chance to win. And having Ben, obviously in the 9 hole. So then if we end up going 9-1-2, it's Ben Williamson, JP Crawford, Julio Rodriguez. So I like the adjustments in the lineup. Donovan Solano has been better as of late. And like I said, I like our chances of winning this game, even with Emerson Hancock on the mound. Pitch is outside, 1-0 count. And 1-0 pitch. Ruiz grounds out to second. Throw to first. Got him. There we go. I'll take that. And let's go to the bottom of the first inning here. Still knotted up at 0. Leading off for the Mariners at shortstop. He needs to get that 5th home run. He's just been sitting on 4 forever. Let's get it, baby. J.P. Crawford. Batting second, playing center field, Julio Rodriguez. And batting third, the best catcher in baseball, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Let's go, baby. And hopefully we can start off fast with a single by JP, maybe a home run by Julio or Cal or both, and we can have a similar start that we did in game number 1, where we can go up 2-0 or 3-0 in the first inning. And if that doesn't happen, hopefully we can end up putting up 1 to 3 runs within the first 5 innings. That way we're not looking up at the scoreboard and waiting for the next series to start with the Minnesota Twins. Let's go, baby. Definitely have to set the tone. I absolutely agree. And we haven't really talked about Polo moving down in the order besides yesterday. And I love seeing that they listen, and he's in the 7 hole today. Having him in the 2 hole is a liability now. Now, when he was batting 350 to 450, then that's fine. But he's already down to 274, which is still better than most of the guys on the team. If you're actually looking at the starting lineup, he still has the highest batting average out of anybody on the team. But it kind of feels like, he hit a wall. Like, he was very, very good early on, but it seems like he hasn't homered in ages. And, it doesn't really seem that he's getting base hits anymore either. So I think that this will be good for him for this demotion, to have him go down in the order. And then hopefully that will help Solano and Leote and Ben Williamson at the end of the order, as well as Demo in the 5 hole. So again, you want to make sure you're having your best guys at the top. Even Randy at 4 is debatable. He's not very good in that position. But again, if you're going to end up having JP in the 1, Julio in the 2, Cal in the 3, we really don't have too many other options in the 4 hole besides maybe like Rowdy Tellez, but he's not in the starting lineup here tonight, but we may see him pinch hit a little later. Let's go, JP. Let's set the tone. We need a nice base hit. Single, double, triple, walk, hit by a pitch or a homer. Let's go. First pitch of JP Crawford, high and inside, 1-0 count. And then on the mound is Mackenzie Gore, nothing to fear. 2-5 record, 3.47 ERA. He's solid. Obviously ERA-wise, record-wise, not so much, but we should be able to find a way. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike looking outside of the zone. Terrible call by this ump. It should be 2 balls, no strikes, but called 1 ball, 1 strike. And we'll see where the strike zone is today with this ump. 1-1. Fouled off, low and away by JP Crawford. 1 ball and 2 strikes to JP. Set the tone early, JP, and when we get hits early off that leadoff man, whether it be JP Crawford or a guy like Victor Robles before he got hurt, when you end up setting the tone early, it sets the table, for guys like Julio, Cal, and Randy after. Let's go. 1-2 pitch in play, and JP flies out to the shortstop. 1 away. Next up for the Mariners, center fielder, stud Julio Rodriguez. First pitch to Julio at the knees, inside, four-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour, 1-0 count. And we need a strong performance out of Julio. You've been very good in May. Let's finish strong, my guy. We need that bat to come alive, and we know your defense will be superb. Trident's up. Let's go, Julio. One-0 pitch, in play. Rodriguez grounds out to second, throw to first, 2 away. Next up for the Mariners, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Let's go, Cal. 1 homer away from 20. Let's get there, baby. Obviously, it's going to be something very, interesting to watch, so to speak, to be able to see how many homers Cal ends up hitting. He's pacing for 57. We know that he probably won't get that number, but again, he'll definitely have the most homers by a catcher, and he typically does that anyways, even before switching to the torpedo bat. But there is no denying that he's the best catcher in baseball, finally getting the recognition that he deserves. First pitch, high and away, four-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour by Mackenzie Gore, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, inside, takes a strike looking on the line at the hips. 1 ball and 1 strike to big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Bottom of the first inning, nobody on with 2 outs. Mackenzie Gore, the lefty on the mound. Big dumper, Cal Raleigh in the box. Not JT in the building. What's good? 1-1 pitch, in play, and a nice single to left by Cal Raleigh. I love it, baby. Way to set the tone, Cal. There you go. Next up, left fielder, Randy Arozarena. Come on, Randy. Feels like ages since you've hit a homer. And again, I know you get plunked, pretty often. You're like the new Ty France. I know you can take walks. You're overly aggressive, with your swings like Julio. But the difference is Julio is typically connecting. And right now, you're striking out and popping up and grounding out a little bit too often. So hopefully we'll be able to get something here in the first inning. First pitch, takes a strike looking out of the zone, but called strike. 0-1 count. Ump is being a little generous to Mackenzie Gore. He better return the favor when Emerson Hancock's on the mound. 0-1 pitch. Low and inside at the knees with a four-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour. 1 ball and 1 strike from Gore to Arozarena. 1-1 pitch, high and away. Four-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour again by Mackenzie Gore. 2 balls and 1 strike to Randy Arozarena. Come on, Randy. We need you, baby. 2-1 pitch, right down the middle, fouled off. That was the one to swing at and hit, but just a little off on the timing. 2 balls, 2 strikes with a runner at first, Cal, and 2 outs. Randy Arozarena in the box. Let's go, Randy. Got to win this game. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 20 in the first hour, 50 overall, and 100 in the donos on every single stream. Let's get it, baby. 2-2 pitch, high and away by Mackenzie Gore. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Count now is full with a runner at first and 2 outs. We're in the bottom of the first, knotted up at 0. Let's go, Randy. Bring that electricity, my guy. And there we go. Good eye by Randy Arozarena. And Cal Raleigh steals second. And safe at third by a throwing error by Keibert Ruiz. Here we go. And again, the Mariners have been the team that have had throwing errors, and that one was way off. Cal had to take a step back, and even though he does have the dumper, he was able to get there. And Randy Arozarena strikes out swinging. Way to just kill the drive after Cal ends up getting that stolen bag and then ends up being able to go to third. All we needed is just a single to get 1-0 to happen there in the bottom of the first. But again, Randy Arozarena, another guy that should probably be demoted and going a little bit lower in the lineup. You know, he's not very reliable. And again, I know Demo, you know, is going to be streaky as well, but probably having Demo in the 4-hole in this game would have been smarter rather than Randy. You know, obviously, you know, if you look at the lineup, it's Demo in 5, Donovan Solano in 6, Polo demoted from 2 to 7 in that 7-hole, so it can't be him. Leote in 8, Williamson in 9, so maybe flip the order and have Demo in the 4 spot. Not to say that Demo would have gotten the RBI for sure, but I think Demo would have given us a better chance to get that RBI for Cal at 3rd. Kind of a wasted inning there. We leave a guy stranded, but again, that's kind of been the story for the Mariners, you know, recently. But I know that we're going to be able to get some runs early and often, but just not in the first. Let's go to the top of the 2nd inning and see who's up next here for the Nats. Next up for the Nationals in the 5-hole, second baseman Luis Garcia Jr. Batting second, DHing Josh Bell. And batting third, center fielder Robert Hassel III. Let's go Mariners. Yeah, you know, and it's not only that. I mean, it's everything that he does. You know, if you look at just the stats alone, you know, being a power hitter from the left side and the right side. He can crush homers from the left and the right. There's not that much of a drop-off. Typically, there's a big drop-off from your offhand. You know, usually if you're lefty and then you're a switch hitter and the righty is the weak hand, normally the stats go way, way down when you're the switch hitter and you're on your offhand. But it's all about the leadership. And again, you know, taking kind of a player-friendly deal. So hopefully they can, you know, lock up Logan Gilbert as well. This is Cal Raleigh's team, 100%. We wouldn't even be able to have an above 500 record without him. Facts. First pitch, takes a strike looking outside of the zone. 0-1 count. Should have been called ball, called strike. Might be a makeup call from the previous inning. 0-1 pitch, same location, outside of the zone. Takes another strike looking, behind in the count 0-2. Should be 2 balls, no strikes, but now we have no balls, 2 strikes. 0-2 pitch, in play. And Garcia singles to left. That might have been karma. You know, Ump is going to give him some terrible calls. He said, fuck it. All right, you're going to try to strike me out with garbage pitches outside of the zone. I'm going to swing on the 3rd one, and he gets a single to left. Funny how that works out. Next up, DHing Josh Bell. And to be able to counteract that hit by Garcia, there, obviously into left, we need a double play right up the middle. First pitch to Josh Bell, takes a strike looking in the zone. This time around, sinker by Emerson Hancock, 0-1 count. Yeah, we definitely need to be calling up guys now. You know, again, we've already been in this little rut since we won 9 consecutive series in a row. You know, bringing up Cole Young and Harry Ford. If you don't want to bring up Tyler Locklear for Solano as the backup to Rowdy Tellez, fine. You know, but Cole Young is ready and Harry Ford is ready. And Bell flies out to left. 1 away. Next up, center fielder Robert Hassel III. Let's get a slow dribbler right up the middle for a double play. Let's get out of this inning. Let's go, baby. All day in the building. What's good? First pitch, sinker, outside of the zone by Hancock, fouled off. 93 miles an hour, bringing that heat. 0-1 count. Top of the second, 1 out, runner at first. Emerson Hancock on the mound. Hassel III in the box. And it's going to get much harder after this series ends when we go against the Minnesota Twins. But luckily, we're at home and not in Minnesota. But again, we're getting Bryce Miller back, which is great. Starting off with Brian Wu in game number 1 tomorrow on Friday. Bryce Miller making his return. Hopefully that elbow back and his mentals are right. And then we have Luis Castillo on Sunday. So I think we can win 2 out of 3. But we just don't really know what Bryce is going to look like. Hopefully better than George Kirby when he made his return. 0-1 pitch. And there we go. Garcia caught stealing. You don't want to run on Big Dumper Cal Raleigh because he'll make you pay. 2 away. There we go. How dare you try to run on our guy, Big Dumper. Top of the second, now with 2 outs. 2 balls and 1 strike to Robert Hassel III. What a throw by Cal Raleigh. Beautiful. Keeper Ruiz, wild throw that led Cal to go to third in the obviously previous inning there in the bottom of the first. That throw was on the point and on money. Right where it needed to be to JP. Garcia had no chance there. 2-1 pitch in play. Grounds out to second. And there we go. All right, let's go to the bottom of the second inning and see if we can get the bats to come alive. Who's going to be the guy that starts it for us here tonight? Next up for the Mariners in the 5-hole, second baseman Dylan Moore. Batting second in the 6-hole, first baseman Donovan Solano. And batting third, DHing in the 7-hole for the first time this season after batting in the 2-hole pretty much all year, DHing Jorge Polanco. And maybe this will motivate Polo to be a little bit smarter in the box, and hopefully he'll be able to find his way on base at least a couple times in this matchup. Let's go Mariners. Trident's up. All right, we need 8 more likes to be able to get to 20. There's 33 people in the room. We got 12 likes. Let's try to get to 20 here within the first hour. We need 8 more to go to hit 20, and then we'll be on our way to 50 at that point. So if you are in the room, help a brother out. Let's go, baby. Captain in the building, what's good? I was just waiting on you to show up so that way we can get this number a little bit higher with the amount of people that are in the room. We definitely got to hit that 50 number, and we've been pretty consistent with that. And the faster that we can get to 20 in the first hour, then we'll get recommended, by YouTube to people browsing or looking for an MLB stream, and then that will get us, obviously, quicker to that number as well. Appreciate you, Captain. You the man. Next up for the Mariners here, Dylan Moore. And again, Mackenzie Gore, 2-5 record, ERA 3.47. So the ERA is good, but again, record not so much because he doesn't get run support. But again, we should be able to find a way to hopefully, get a couple runs within the 5th inning. Again, I don't expect, us to, score 10 runs today, or even 9, which was kind of crazy that we scored that many in game 1. But then we got absolutely obliterated, burned the tape yesterday, and we lost 9-0, and that was pathetic. So, it shows you how important pitching is. And when pitching is bad, it definitely affects the hitters, in the game, depending on how much you're down by. It definitely, you either set the tone, for good things to happen, or, you can end up, pitching so badly with the starters and the mid relievers, then at some point, where they're maybe, not necessarily giving up, but, looking forward to maybe tomorrow. First pitch in there for a strike. 0-1 count to Demo. 0-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss, high and inside. Behind in the count now, 0-2 to Dylan Moore. 0-2 pitch, high and away. Four-seam fastball, tried to paint that corner, but just a little bit out of the zone. 95 miles an hour by Mackenzie Gore. 1-2 pitch, and a big swing and a miss. Down goes Demo, 1 away. Next up, first baseman Donovan Solano. And considering a lot of the hitters have cooled off, who's to say that Donovan can't be the guy to get something started? Cal got the first hit of the game. But again, we'll see if Donovan can find a way to get on with a walk, or maybe just a cheap little, base knock, like a little blooper. First pitch, takes a strike looking in the zone. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, big swing and a miss. Curveball inside, tried to jam him at the knees and does. Behind in the count now, 0-2. Just don't strike out, Donovan. Come on now. Grind out this at-bat for a couple more pitches if you can. Good eye. 0-2 pitch, high and inside. Four-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour. Tried to paint that corner, but just missed it by Gore. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Donovan Solano. Let's go, Donovan. It only took him 50-plus games to get a good photo of you that I could use. 1-2 pitch. Fouled off. High and away. He's grinding it out. Here we go. Come on now. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. And again, based on, kind of the inconsistencies with the hitting with a lot of our guys, besides maybe Julio and Cal, we need others to step up. Who's it going to be? One-two pitch. High and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Donovan Solano. Let's go, Solano. In play on the 2-2 pitch. Grounds out to third. Throw to first. 2 away. All right, Polo, here's your chance. You got demoted from the 2-hole that we talked about yesterday, and they actually, listened. And now he's in the 7-hole for the first time. So, you never know who might be listening, to the broadcast. And again, we have a pretty good pulse on what they should do, to be a little bit better based on the results that they've been getting out of a player. And we know Polo was the best player, batting average wise and home run wise early, but he definitely has cooled off, going from 350 to 450 batting average. Now, he's around 274, which is still the best out of our starting lineup in the game today. But it just feels like he hasn't been the same player in weeks. And we need him to get back to where he was at the beginning of the season. First pitch at the knees, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch from Gore to Polanco, curveball low and inside. 2 balls and no strikes to Jorge Polanco. .274 average, 10 homers, 30 ribbies, but a lot of that action was earlier in the year. Did they decide that Robles is going to be shut down for the year? In play and popped up and flied out to right, and that is the end of the 2nd inning. I mean, he wasn't going to come back until the earliest of September, and realistically, if he had any kind of setbacks, he was going to be out for the year. So I don't think anyone really was anticipating him playing this year. It was going to be like kind of fingers crossed and whatnot, but we'll wait and see. But any kind of setback, unless, we're in like the World Series or in a deep, deep run, but again, at that point, you don't want him to, jeopardize the long-term career. We'll see what happens. All right, let's go to the top of the 3rd inning. See who's up next here for the Nats. Next up for the Nats in the 8-hole, 3rd baseman, Jose Tena. Batting 2nd in the 9-hole, right fielder, Dalen Lyle. And back at the top of the order, 0 for 1, shortstop, C.J. Abrams. Let's go Mariners. Try to up. Yeah, that news was reported a little while back, so it's nothing new. I thought that you might have heard something new that just happened within like the last 30 minutes, like they had some new report. But yeah, we already knew that it was going to be around September. But again, if we get into the playoffs, in October, which we should, he might be able to be available. But again, we're not going to know until we get closer into August and September to see if he has any setbacks at that point. But I would love for him to come back. But it also shows you when you bring back a guy too soon, like George Kirby, it's a disaster. So again, you have to make sure you're bringing a guy back when he's mentally ready and physically ready. Otherwise, you're not going to get the player that you want. You're going to get a shell of the player of what he was. And prayers up for Victor Robles and all the other guys that are injured. But again, we do have Bryce Miller on the mound, and he will be back. Hopefully we get Logan Evans in the starting lineup as well, replacing Emerson Hancock at some point. Obviously, Miller is back on Saturday, so it'll be Wu, Miller, and Castillo against the Twins. First pitch in play by Tena. Grounds out to JP, throw to first, 1 away. But again, we will have Logan Gilbert back very, very soon as well. So again, it just kind of feels like Logan Evans, I hope won't be the odd man out. And I know we can run a 6-man rotation. There's not very many teams that could do it. We're probably the only team that could do it, but more than likely they'll stick with 5. But again, if it comes down to Logan Evans, George Kirby, or Emerson Hancock, give me Logan Evans today. First pitch fouled off by Lyle, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, fouled off again with the sinker, 93 miles an hour, same spot, same location, outside, behind in the count 0-2 to Dalen Lyle. Let's go, Emerson. You've been pretty good so far. And again, even Emerson Hancock has been better as of late. Remember, he gave up 6 runs in his first game, got sent down to AAA. His ERA was 81. Now it's down to under 6. And if he keeps pitching the way that he has, in the last few starts, he will, be somewhere in the 4s. And I think for the worst pitcher on the staff, if he's got an ERA of 4, that's pretty solid. And if he can even get it to the high 3s, like 3.99 or 3.90, that would be amazing. Really showing the depth that we have with our pitching staff. And I don't think that's crazy to think that he can do that. He was a former first-round pick, so we expected him to be better. And again, I think Emerson Hancock right now is better than what we saw out of Bryce Miller, as well as, George Kirby, obviously in those 2 starts that he had coming off that stint in AAA. Lyle grounds out to second. Throw to first. Got him. There we go, baby. 2 away. Next up is shortstop CJ Abrams. There we go, Captain. Great job. First pitch, takes a strike swinging, low and away. 0-1 count from Hancock to Abrams. But we've also proven that we can win, without certain guys like Robles and Kirby. But again, the Astros are really nipping at our heels, so we need to be able to make up some ground in this, 9-game homestand. And again, we started it off 1-1. We need to win 2 out of 3, and we need to win 2 out of 3 against the Twins. We need to really set the tone. And again, we kind of dug ourselves in a little bit of a hole on that road trip, and especially only winning 1 game out of 4 against the Stros was not ideal. Pitch fouled off. Behind in the count now 0-2 from Hancock to Abrams. Let's go, baby. It's our day today. We're winning today. I feel very confident about that. Magic number, 4 to 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits. And as long as Hancock gives up 3 runs or less, we're good. He's at 0, and again, it's one of those things that after seeing how good Logan Evans was in game 1 and how bad Kirby was in game 2, and now you're seeing Emerson Hancock, we have to be very, very thankful that we actually have some depth, on the pitching staff. Most teams couldn't survive if their top 3 out of 5 pitchers, 3 out of 5 in the starting rotation are out. Most teams would be devastated as we get out of the inning there. Nice job by Emerson Hancock. But again, to have, Bryce Miller, Logan Gilbert, and George Kirby. So essentially that's the 1 in Logan Gilbert normally. George Kirby is normally the 2, right? And then Bryce Miller is usually, like the 4 or the 5, now since Wu is the man. So, most teams wouldn't be able to survive. And again, it was a rough start for Emerson, but I think that he's starting to grow on people. And again, if you're concerned about him based on what he did early in the year, it's what have you done for me lately, right? And again, early in the year, he wasn't good. But now when you compare him to what you saw with Bryce Miller this year when he wasn't good, and then when George Kirby had his 2 starts, he wasn't good. It gives us the best chance to win with the guys that are healthy and on right now. And again, at some point, I hope, Bryce Miller and George Kirby return to form. But if they don't, this season, we have other guys that can step up. And again, I still think that we can win. Bottom of the 3rd inning. Let's see who's up next for the Mariners. Yeah, I don't think the Mariners, we don't really fear anybody, but again, we definitely need the bats to come alive. We're not the same team on that 9 consecutive series win streak when we won so many games by big numbers, scoring, 6 to, 15 runs, and it was like 6-run average for like a month and a half. We're scoring more like 1 to 3 now. And you can't win too many games in MLB scoring 1 to 3 unless you get lucky and win 1-0, 2-1, 3-2. But we're not really built to win that way that often. So, maybe one game in a series we can win like that, but we need the bats to come alive. And I believe that they will in this game. Next up for the Mariners, right fielder Leody Taveras. Batting second in the 9-hole, third baseman Ben Williamson. And then we're back at the top of the order with shortstop J.P. Crawford. Let's drop some bunts down this game. We've had a hard time getting guys on base and moving them into scoring position. We haven't been able to steal bags. We haven't been walked. We haven't been hit by pitches besides Randy. We need to find ways to get on base, especially if the hitting has been cooled off a little bit for everyone besides maybe Julio and Cal. First pitch, high and away to Leody Taveras. Four-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour by Mackenzie Gore. 1-0 count. Appreciate you, Libra. 1-0 pitch in play, and a nice single to right by Leody Taveras. There we go, Leody. You never know who's going to be the unsung hero, even if it ends up being one of the lower guys in the lineup. Nice job, Taveras. And he's been a pretty good replacement for Robles in right field. He definitely isn't Victor, but again, he's a little bit better than I think a lot of people anticipated for being a 9-hole hitter for the Rangers that they gave up on. Next up is Big Ben Williamson. Let's go. We know you can do it defensively. We need that bat to come alive. Let's go, Ben. First pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle from Gore. 0-1 count. Bottom of the third inning, running at first, Leody Taveras, and no outs. It's been a little slow start for both teams, but I think the bats will warm up. Big swing and a miss. Behind in the count now, 0-2. Come on, Ben. Oh-2 pitch, high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Gordon Williamson. I appreciate you very much too. We have fans, all over the globe that watch. And again, I've been watching since the mid-'80s, so I know I look young, but again, I've been a fan for almost 40 years, believe it or not. Big swing and a miss. So, anyone that has Kingdom memories, in every different era that we've gone through, it's very, very cool. Welcome to the NWSF. We appreciate you. All right, Big Ben couldn't get it done for us, but hopefully he'll do it later on. I thought this would have been a great time to bunt and try to move the runner over. But again, strategy is always going to be different with different guys, and we'll see what we get here with JP. 0 for 1 with JP Crawford. And again, the way the Mariners typically operate, whether it's JP leading off or Victor Robles, when those guys get a hit, in the first at-bat, it really, changes the trajectory of the game. And it's more likely that Julio and Cal get hits also. But when they don't get a hit for that first guy leading off, in at least the first couple at-bats, it kind of feels like it's a little bit harder to get things going. But, hopefully JP can find a way to get onto first base, either with a walk or a nice single here. He's been stuck at 4 home runs for quite a minute. First pitch outside, 1-0 count with that slider. 1-0 pitch from Mackenzie Gore, low and away, trying to paint the corners, but he's still off the plate. 2 balls and no strikes from Gore to Crawford. But this is the most exciting team, even with the injuries, with Ryan Bliss, Victor Robles, Luke Raley, George Kirby, Logan Gilbert, Bryce Miller. Again, this is the best team that we've had since the 2001 team with Ichiro, where we almost won close to 120 games. We didn't hit that number. Obviously lost to the Yankees in the playoffs, but it's not like we've had a lot of good years in our team history. We've been around for a while, and again, it's like 1995, Griffey, 95 slide, 97, that MVP year, obviously for Griffey, 2001, Ichiro's rookie year, 2022, Cal getting the home run to get us, obviously, into the playoffs as Taveras gets caught stealing. Fucking A, man. That's the last thing that we need. Come on, Leody. Golly. The last thing that we need is guys to be getting caught at first or from first to second. Jesus. And then obviously this year in 2025. But I feel since 2022, in those 2 years that we missed the playoffs, we only missed it by, a couple games. So it's not like, we were in a big drought, where we're 20 games below 500. We did go on a 20-year run where we didn't make the playoffs and finally did it in 2022. And that's the end of the third inning there. And again, when Leody ends up getting called out, it really kills the momentum of everything there, depending on whoever is in the box. And JP doesn't get anything, and we're still knotted up at 0. And again, we definitely need to be calling up Harry Ford and Cole Young. Tacoma Rainiers threw up like 19 runs last night. Again, when you get guys that can get 3, 4, 5 hits in a game, and the hitters on the Mariners right now have kind of hit a wall, how long are you going to wait, before you start bringing some guys up? We had some pretty good luck with Ben Williamson and Logan Evans. I mean, again, you already know what you're going to get out of Solano. You already know what you're going to get out of Mastroboni. You already know what you're going to get out of Garver. Those guys are replaceable. Bring up the young guys, so that way if we're still struggling hitting, we can at least have some excitement with the new guys coming up. And honestly, I really think if you brought up Tyler Locklear for Donovan Solano, the backup for Rowdy Tellez at first, you replaced Mitch Garver with Harry Ford, and then you ended up having Cole Young, step in at second base or shortstop, I think the team would be much better, and it would be a big thrill for the fans. And, a lot of Mariner fans don't follow what we do in single A, high A, double A, triple A like myself. But again, we have the number 1 farm team in MLB out of all 30, and we got like 10 guys in the top 100. Let's start bringing some of those guys up. And stop worrying about some of the others that we're bringing up that aren't in the top 10 in the top 100. All right, let's see who's up next here in the top of the 4th. We need hits. We need runs. But one thing that we can say right now, Emerson Hancock is doing a hell of a job. For a guy that had an ERA of 81, giving up 6 runs in his first start, getting sent to the AAA Tacoma Rainiers, and has been balling. He's been actually pretty good. We just need to get him some fucking run support. Next up, 0 for 0 with a walk, left fielder who's homered in Game 1 and Game 2, the best player on the team, James Wood. First pitch, James Wood, fouled off high and away with a sinker, 0-1 count. Oh, 0-1 pitch, big strike looking, and that should have been called ball. The ump is, definitely needs some kind of LASIK. He's calling balls strikes, balls. We can say that in every game for any ump, but he's definitely being a little generous with some of the pitches for both guys. 0-2 pitch, low and away with the changeup. 86 miles an hour by Emerson Hancock. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. Top of the 4th inning. We're knotted up at 0. And Wood strikes out looking. There we go, right in the zone. Great sinker. 93 miles an hour by Emerson Hancock. Nice job, Emerson. Way to be, my guy. Way to bring that electricity. Especially after what Logan Evans did, you're trying to show that, hey, I can do it too. And especially how bad George Kirby and Bryce Miller have looked this year. We need those 2 guys to replace the other 2, especially if we're struggling on that side, in the baseball matchup. First pitch from Hancock to Nathaniel Lowe. Takes a strike looking on the line, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, high and away. Four-seam fastball, a couple feet off the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike from Hancock to Lowe. Let's go, Emerson. Just thankful that we have the depth pitching and hitting wise, and there's so much amazing talent in the farm that I feel like the average Mariner fan has no idea, until the guys actually get called up, and then you'll start seeing, the magic happen right in front of your very eyes. And a lot of these guys have been in the farm for a few years. So, it's not like they just got to the farm. They've been there for a while. Pitches inside, high and tight. 2 balls and 1 strike to Nathaniel Lowe. We should be able to get Lowe out here. Let's go, baby. We don't want to waste this amazing performance out of Emerson Hancock. We want him to be able to give up 3 runs or less, and that's pretty much standard for any pitcher, even the best ones like Wu and Gilbert. And Lowe flying out to the shortstop, throw to first. There we go. 2 away. Next up, for the Nats, 0 for 1 catcher Keibert Ruiz. First pitch to Ruiz, low and away with that sinker, 1-0 count. But I've been very impressed, with Emerson Hancock lately. Beginning of the year, he wasn't very good, but he's gotten much, much better as the year has progressed. Logan Evans is the new Brian Wu, And I want him to get called back up onto the main roster. And again, it's crazy to think that, Emerson Hancock and Logan Evans might be better than George Kirby and Bryce Miller this year, but that's what the reality, and we have to be able to embrace that. And then just pray that Bryce and George get better as the year goes on. But if they don't, and it's a wash for both of them, at least we have two guys to step in that can do a good job and have proven they can do a good job. In play on the 1-2 pitch and lined out to left. And there we go. That's out number 3. Let's go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Let's stop fucking around and let's get a home run on the board or get a back-to-back-to-back hit situation where we can get an RBI and make the score 1 or 2-0. All right, here we go. Leading off here for the Mariners in the bottom of the 4th inning, 0-for-1 center fielder Julio Rodriguez. Tried ends up. Batting second, 1-for-1 with a single. Catcher, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. The best catcher in baseball, period. No questions asked. And batting third, a guy that needs to step up, 0-for-1 with a K, left fielder, Randy Arozarena. I almost feel like with Randy, if he ended up just not swinging, he would actually get plunked more and he would actually get walked more. And again, that would help us by actually getting him on base rather than him overly aggressively swinging like Julio in March and April and getting nothing. It just seems like he strikes out a lot, and again, when you get a player that sometimes doesn't show hustle in the outfield, it's like, what are we doing here? It's like you're not a very good defender in left. Every once in a while, you'll make a magical play, but most of the time, your effort, as far as chasing after pop-ups and grounders that come to your area, it's a kind of a lazy effort. He kind of lollygags and jogs some of the time, and I know that irritates a lot of fans. And the last thing that we need is for you to be a liability in left field, and you can't hit. Something's got to give. Let's go. Bottom of the 4th inning, we're knotted up here at 0. But it's not like, George Kirby and Bryce Miller are washed and like they're at the end of their careers and they're never going to get back to where they were. They're incredibly young. So again, but we have to come to the realization that it might be the situation where they might be washed for this year. And, we're not going to really see a good product out of them when they're on the mound. I hope that they turn it around, but at least just be thankful that we got Evans and Hancock there if we need them. First pitch fouled off by Julio. 4-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour by Mackenzie Gore, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, low and at the knees with a curveball, 82 miles an hour by Mackenzie Gore. 1 ball and 1 strike to Julio Rodriguez. Let's go, baby. Come on, Julio. We need someone to set the tone. Be the tone setter. You've been absolutely phenomenal in May. And based on your production, hell, you might even make the All-Star game. Now, in March and April, your stats were not good. But in May, it's been better. And depending on how you do in June, you might, if you have a hot June, and you can get to like 20 home runs, by the end of June, beginning of July, who knows? Maybe Julio will be a reserve in the All-Star game. But Dan Wilson should be the manager. Cal Raleigh, that's an automatic bid. Andres Munoz, automatic bid. Brian Wu should be there, and Julio should possibly be considered depending on how he does here in the next month and a half. Pitch fouled off. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. But realistically, they probably wouldn't vote in Julio or Wu, but, they might be deserving. I mean, Wu's numbers are deserving, but again, we'll see if the, rest of the fan base, across all the teams in MLB feel the same way about Wu that we do. Because right now, he's our best pitcher on the staff. Pitch fouled off. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. But, it would be sweet to, have at least 3, in there. Wu, Cal, Munoz, and then Dan Wilson. But, maybe Julio can squeeze in there as well. Pitch fouled off. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. But Julio's numbers as of today are not good enough. But again, if he can get his batting average close to 280 to 300 and be sitting at 20 home runs, like doubling his home run number. He's at 10 now. If he can get to 20, by the first week of July, 20, 21, something like that, and have a monster June, yeah, he probably would be able to get in at that point. So, but if he doesn't, and he's batting like, 260, 250, 240, and is sitting at like 14, 15 home runs, we'll see where it goes. But last season with 143 games, he only hit 20 homers, which was very low for him. He should be hitting 30 minimum based on his talent level. But he's got the talent to hit, you would assume 40 to 50 before his career is over. He's not Ken Griffey Jr. by any means, but, we got Cal Raleigh for that. Count now is full with that pitch high and away. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. When's the last time you've seen Julio in a full count? Especially in March and April, he was out within the first 3 pitches in most of his at-bats. So he's learning from Edgar. He's learning from Seitzer. He's learning from Ichiro. And again, I like to be able to see this type of Julio, considering all the other hitters that were hot in March and April have cooled off. Besides Cal Raleigh. And Rodriguez grounds out to the shortstop, throw to first. 1 away. All right, Julio couldn't do it there. Maybe this guy can do it. The best player on the team, the best catcher in baseball, 1 for 1. Catcher, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Let's go, Cal. First pitch to Cal Raleigh. High and away with the 4-seam fastball, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, big swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike to Cal Raleigh. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to that good number, 50, before the stream ends. And we're still looking for our first dono on the dono train. Bottom of the 4th inning, 0-0 Nats and Mariners in a pitcher's duel. I don't think anyone expected that. Big swing and a miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes to big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Let's go, Cal. Cal's at 19 with Schwarber. Aaron Judge right behind that. 18, Ohtani with 20. Let's go, Cal. Home run leader in the American League, but big swing and a miss. Down goes big dumper. Nice pitching by Mackenzie Gore. We're not haters here. Nice job, Mackenzie. Getting our boy Cal Raleigh out, which is not an easy thing to do. All right, next up, left fielder Randy Arozarena. At this point, we'll take anything. Single, double, triple, home run, a walk, or even getting plunked and getting hit by a pitch as long as you don't get hurt. First pitch, 5 feet off the plate with a curveball high and away, 1-0 count. Fourth K for Mackenzie Gore. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike looking, high and inside. Should have been called ball, but called strike. Yeah, we need all the good luck charms that we can get here. Let's go, baby. Let's go. And down goes Randy Arozarena. It's like, sometimes with certain guys, it's like you want to be able to have confidence in certain guys, but lately, I don't really have any confidence in Randy or Polo. They have just been so cold lately. It seems like almost every at-bat is a wasted opportunity. And again, it's not like, some of the other guys have really been, hot as well. Julio and Cal have been the hottest, and then out of everyone else in the lineup, probably then I would go JP and then Big Ben. But again, it's been very, very light. When we were on our hot streak, we had 5 or 6 guys out of 9 that were hot, and then now we got like 1 or 2. And that's kind of how it was last year and the year before, where we were not a very good hitting team when we were batting 180 to 220, and we were the number 1 strikeout team in baseball. So at least we're not striking out, 10 to 15 times a game like we were. But again, we're not really getting the right production. Start calling up some of these farm guys. Let's go. If you can't hit against the Nats, what the hell are we going to do against the Twins? Are we going to get swept? Something's got to give. Let's go. Wake up, Mariners. But one thing that is amazing even though we don't have any runs on the board and the hits have been limited, we only have 2. They have 1 and an error. But at least Emerson Hancock is killing it. 4 innings pitched, 1 hit, no earned runs, 1 walk, 3 Ks, 45 pitches, 29 strikes, 5.40 ERA. He's going to get his ERA in the 4s sooner than later. Nice job, Emerson. And then as we go to Mackenzie Gore, obviously having a better game than Emerson to a certain degree, based off at least Ks, 1 more K. 4 innings pitched, 2 hits, no earned runs, no walks, 4 Ks, 54 pitches, 34 strikes, and a 3.26 ERA. So technically, Hancock is having the better game, and I like the way that Emerson is looking. Much better than George Kirby or Bryce Miller at this point. As Randy grounds out, I want to be able to have faith in a guy like Randy, not feel like he's a liability. Next up for the Nats. See who's up next here. Luis Garcia Jr. First pitch fouled off, low and away. 0-1 count. Oh, wow. Moving to Phoenix. How far away is that from where you're living now? In play, and Garcia Jr. singled to center. Nice base knock by Luis. Well, good luck with the move. And whenever you get settled in, like I said, I'll be grinding out every single game. All right, we need a double play here right up the middle by Josh Bell. Let's see if we can get it. A little slow dribbler to get out of this inning. In play. And flied out to right. Thank God that wasn't a homer. That was one of the hardest hit balls that we've seen here today, here in the top of the 5th, 1 away. All right, here's the double play. Center fielder Robert Hassel III. See if we can get a double play here to end the inning for the Nats. But I don't think anybody had a 0-0 prediction, here in the 5th inning against the Nationals. I mean, again, it shows you how much we've cooled off. And again, it was an amazing run with those 9 consecutive series wins, but we need another, kind of springboard moment, like when we were down 5-0 to the Stros in the 8th and came back and won 7-6 and scored 7 runs in the last 2 innings and won. We need a win like that to gain the momentum and the confidence and also to be able to call up Harry Ford and Cole Young and Tyler Locklear. Because if you don't call those guys up, and they keep continuing to rake for the Tacoma Rainiers, that's great for Tacoma, but not good for Seattle when we're losing games or we're struggling with the bats. First pitch, low and away. 1-0 count from Hancock to Hassel III. 1-0 pitch, in play, and there it is, double play. My ESP is on point, and again, we get out of the inning. Let's go. Great performance by Emerson Hancock. Now, can we please get him some runs so that way he can actually get his win total up? Like, this is the last thing that we need for him to pitch a gem compared to what we saw yesterday with George Kirby and the relievers, and then we end up losing this game fucking like 1-0. We cannot have that. We need to win this game. It's fucking must win, especially with a team like Minnesota coming in tomorrow. Again, we got Wu, Miller, Castillo. I feel that we can win with Wu, but again, we thought we could win with Wu on his last start and we lost. So, again, 2 errors in the first inning by Wu and Leo Rivas, and then we ended up losing the game by a very short margin. But again, we can't have that. Everything has been magnified. We've had more throwing errors. We've had more self-inflicted wounds. We've had more guys get thrown out trying to steal second or third. We need to get back to the basics, bunting and, calling some guys up and moving guys in the order. And they finally moved Polo in the 7-hole. But again, you got to be a little bit more creative when you're hitting a wall and, being a little bit smarter with the analytics and the statistics and trying to figure out the best order of the guys each individual day. Facts. Next up for the Mariners, 0-for-1 with a K, second baseman Dylan Moore. Batting second, 0-for-1, first baseman Donovan Solano. And batting third, 0-for-1, DHing Jorge Polanco. Let's go Mariners. Six more likes to 30. First pitch to Dylan Moore. Takes a strike swinging, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, high and inside with a four-seam fastball. 1 ball and 1 strike from Gore to Demo. And I guess we're going to have to wait for both starters to go out. And then, both teams should be able to rake, depending on who comes in. We used a bunch of shitty, guys, yesterday. 2 of them making their 2025 debut in the pen. And we already sent 1 guy back, into AAA. So I don't really know the purpose of that. It's like, hey, let's give you some experience while you suck. And then we end up losing by more. But, it is what it is. Pitch fouled off. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Gore to Moore. Let's go, Demo. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. And we're still waiting for our first dono for our dono train. And Demo strikes out swinging. Big swing and a miss. 1 away. Next up, first baseman Donovan Solano. Let's go, Donovan. You don't expect him to hit a home run, but even if he can get on base, single, double, hit by a pitch, walk, you don't expect him to bunt because he's going to be too slow to make it, but just find a way to work the count. First pitch, low and at the knees. Good eye by Donovan Solano. Curveball on the line, but called ball. 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, low and away with a changeup by Gore. 2 balls and no strikes to Donovan Solano. And if Solano is smart and just doesn't swing, he should be able to get on first by a walk. Let's see if obviously Donovan isn't going to try to play like hero ball and swing at everything, but again, he'll swing here and there, but hopefully he'll be smart with his decision making. 2-0 pitch, fouls one off right down the middle. Four-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour by Gore. 2 balls and 1 strike with nobody on and 1 out. Bottom of the 5th. Gore and Hancock pitching gems today. And again, I don't think anyone anticipated that, but that's a good sign, as far as our pitching staff is concerned. And it's probably a good sign for Nats fans with Gore. But again, we need fucking hits. We need runs. We need RBIs. And we're going to have to probably wait and have a 3-inning sprint in the 7th, 8th, and 9th to see who's going to win this game. Pitch fouled off, inside on the line. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Donovan Solano. Let's go, Donovan. In play on the 2-2 pitch and popped out to second. 2 away. Next up, 0 for 1, DHing Jorge Polanco. Come on, Polo, wake up. We need that bat to wake up. Let's go. First pitch, low and at the knees. Curveball, 79 miles an hour by Gore, 1-0 count. And they didn't really want Polo to be batting from the right side, due to his injury that he had, obviously, in the offseason coming into this year. Obviously, much better of a hitter from the left side than the right. Not like Cal, where he can do both at an extreme level, very, very high level. Pitch fouled off. 2 balls and 1 strike from Gore to Polo. But you can definitely tell, we're missing, Victor Robles. Victor Robles would be a guy that could kind of get the team going. And, you need those good attitude players, especially like Victor Robles and a guy that no longer on the team, Eugenio Suarez. Wish we still had him on the team as well. You need guys like that to be able to lift the team. It can't always be Julio and Cal every night. The others have to step up, the role players. Pitch fouled off. 2 balls and 1 strike to Jorge Polanco. 3 more likes to 30. Let's get there. Let's try to get to 50. And down goes Polo. Brutal. All right, let's go to the top of the 6th inning and see who's up next for the Nats. Next up for the Nationals, third baseman 0 for 1, Jose Tena. Batting second, 0 for 1, right fielder Dalen Lyle. And batting third, 0 for 2 with a K, shortstop C.J. Abrams. Let's go Mariners. Two more likes to 30. We're 22 away from the goal. If you're in the room and haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. It's the least you can do in the room. If you don't want to chat and you don't donate, that's fine. But at least hit the like button to help us with the metrics and the analytics. Let's go. But we still need that first person to help us get on the board. Take a look at the numbers between both pitchers. Magnificent games for both. Mackenzie Gore, 5 innings pitched, 2 hits, no earned runs, no walks, 5 Ks. 67 pitches, 42 strikes, ERA of 3.21. Great game by Mackenzie Gore. And then on the flip side, this is our worst pitcher. And if he's our worst, again, but he actually isn't our worst. Maybe worst by name, but he's better than Kirby and Miller at this point. So he's not our worst pitcher anymore. 5 innings pitched, 2 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, 3 Ks, 51 pitches, 34 strikes, and 5.28 ERA. He'll be in the 4s before you know it. And, hopefully Bryce and George can get back to where they, were as a player, but at least we have Evans and Hancock. So if those guys do end up having kind of a washed year, we'll still be okay with, Logan Gilbert, Brian Wu, Luis Castillo, Logan Evans, and Emerson Hancock if we have to go that route. And Tena bunts foul. And Ben Williamson, look at that hustle. Look at Big Ben. How many guys do you know at third base that would put up that much effort, on a pitch that was bunted? Look at that effort. Again, I wish Randy Arozarena was taking note. Again, you never see Randy run towards a ball like that, regardless if he thinks he can get it or not. He just kind of jogs and says, well, yeah, that's a double. And, instead of just really trying to throw it in there, other players need to take note on how great of an athlete and a hustle player Ben Williamson is. Takes the strike looking high and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Jose Tena. 2-2 pitch. High and away. About 5 feet off the plate. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Hancock to Tena. And the nice thing about Emerson in this game, he hasn't really had an inning where he had guys at first and second or second and third that were threatening. And the most that they've had is a guy at first, and then we've either got a double play to end it, or getting a guy on a pop up or a ground out. But Tena walks here in the top of the 6th. Finish strong, Emerson. You've been absolutely phenomenal. Same thing with Mackenzie Gore. Next up, right fielder Dalen Lyle, and hopefully we can get a slow dribbler right up the middle for a double play to get 2 outs. I want to make sure Emerson comes out unscathed, and hopefully, we can go into the bottom of the 6th and we can finally score. And if we don't, then obviously when both pitchers go out, Gore and Hancock, 7th, 8th, and 9th will be a sprint. But luckily for us, we're one of the top 3 teams in MLB in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning based off production. So even if we only win 1-0 or 2-1, we'll fucking take it. And Lyle bunted foul. At least the Nats are trying to bunt, They understand the fucking, strategy. When the bats are light, sometimes you got to go outside the box thinking, When everyone else is thinking checkers, you got to think chess. even though both bunts have been foul. At least they're trying. I think everyone loves Ben. I mean, there's not really anything bad you can say about him. You know, Polo can't play third, even though they tried to designate him to do that. Wow, back-to-back bunts by Lyle, but they both go foul. Okay, Lyle, I see you. You know, obviously Eugenio Suarez would have been the smarter, decision on keeping him on the team. But, since we moved on, from him, again, Ben Williamson is the guy that should be our third baseman for the next 5 to 10 years. He's solid. He definitely has cooled off, though, a little bit from his hot start when he first came up, but still very good defensively and as offensively as well. Pitches low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Hancock to Lyle. 1-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Nice job by Emerson Hancock. Hey. And this should make Mariner fans feel pretty good, considering, Kirby and Miller being shaky. Hancock and Evans are really good right now. Hell, Hancock might even be better than Luis Castillo. If we're really being honest, like Luis, has been better than 2023 and 2024. He looks like the player that we got when we first got him from the Reds, but again, there has been some, games where he's looked pretty shaky as well. But I like the way that Emerson has been looking lately. We know Wu is the best. And then, obviously Gilbert, if he comes in healthy, hopefully, he'll be up there, as the number 2, but then as far as 3, 4, 5, we'll see where it goes. But I think right now, you'd probably go Wu is the 1, and then Logan Evans is the 2, based on who's playing right now. And then, maybe Hancock 3, Castillo 4. And then we get Logan Gilbert back. He should be in the top 2 spots, we hope. We can't have Logan Gilbert look like Miller or look like Kirby. Pitches inside, high and tight. 2 balls and 1 strike to CJ Abrams. Top of the 6th with 1 out. We need a slow dribbler right up the middle for a double play to end the inning. I mean, obviously we know that, when I talk about guys 1 through 5, they might be pitching, at a certain position. Like Wu last year was, the 5-hole pitcher, the last guy in the rotation. But at the end of the year, he was the best pitcher on the team based off record, ERA, and aura and vibe. So, just because you're 4th or 5th in the rotation doesn't mean you're actually the 4th or 5th best pitcher. Wu right now is the 1. And hopefully Gilbert will get back to form because we're going to need him. Pitches outside, 3 balls and 1 strike to CJ Abrams. Come on, Hancock. Let's go, Emerson. And Abrams with the walk. Next up, left fielder James Wood. Got to be careful here. He's homered in game 1 and game 2. 0 for 1 with a base on ball and a K. Emerson has pitched him well, and we know he's starting to get a little tired, but he's only at 64 pitches. So, it's almost like Logan Evans, where, with our bullpen issues, Emerson Hancock could go 8 innings like Logan Evans. I mean, we're at 0 right now. He's only at 64 pitches, and that's kind of similar to what Logan Evans was like, so I disagree. I would not take him out. We're at a 0-0 game. It's not like we're, in a game right now down 6-0. But again, you got to be very, very careful on how you pitch, to James Wood. But it looks like they may be trying to pull him here. So they're going to bring in Gabe Spire. I don't know if I agree with that. But again, they're going to bring in Gabe, and we've seen Gabe be really hot early on, and then he's been a little shaky, as of late, giving up home runs, hits, and RBIs. So, there's a couple different maneuvers that you could have went. You could have intentionally walked James Wood to have bases loaded and then try to go after the hitters after. But, yes, Wood homered, in game 1 and game 2. Yes, he is the best player on the Nationals. But I don't know if I agree. I don't know if I agree with taking Emerson Hancock out here. It's not like he's at 90 pitches. It's 0-0. Yes, this is a point, where normally when you have runners at first and second or at second and third with no outs, then you got to pull them. But it's 1 out. So we'll see if this is the correct move or if it ends up backfiring and Gabe gives up a 3-run jack or gives up an RBI, and then we end up losing. But we'll find out. All right, we're at 30. 20 more to go to hit the goal. I mean, game can go either way, but again, once the starting pitching goes out, the game resets, and then we'll see what bullpen is better, whether it's the Nats or the Mariners. But, hopefully Gabe, can find a way to be clutch, and we can get out of this inning. Again, normally, Gabe Spire, Casey Legomina, Matt Brash, those guys are normally trustworthy, and then the best is our closer, the best closer in baseball, Andres Munoz. So at least we got two guys that are the best at their position right now. Andres Munoz as a closer, Cal Raleigh as catcher. But we need more than just those two guys right now. But this will definitely be the pivotal moment in the game on what happens here with James Wood. And hopefully we can get a double play. Harder to get a double play when runners are at first and second, but it can be done. Slow dribbler to third, throw to second, and then you can get out of the inning. But we'll see what happens here. But we definitely need a double play or, a punch out, pop up, ground out, and then we can take our chances with Nathaniel Lowe, which I know we can get out. But this is definitely the most pivotal point in the game, because this is, again, was that the right decision to pull Emerson in this situation? I don't think so. I don't think I would have pulled him. And normally I'm very quick, to be able to make a move. But again, it's not like our bullpen has been very good. And again, if this was Gabe Spire at the beginning of the year, then I would say, yeah, put him in immediately. But again, Gabe lately has been kind of hit or miss. In play, and that was the wrong move. There you go. Gabe Spire coming in, fucking it all up. Wood with a double to left. Abrams and Tenna scored, and there it is. And that's why you should have kept Emerson Hancock in the game. And Emerson, the same thing could have happened to him, but I honestly believe it wouldn't have happened. And that's a stupid move by Dan Wilson, and there you go. Sometimes you have to understand, when guys are good and when guys aren't. And Gabe has not really been good lately, and there you go. Your decision on pulling a guy that had a magnificent game, you could have went 8 innings with Emerson Hancock. Stop treating these guys like they're fucking babies, like they're in AAA. They're better right now than Bryce Miller and George Kirby. You have to understand, it's not what you've done in the past. It's how are you doing right now? What have you done for me lately? Brutal. And then Wood steals third. Brutal. Now Nathaniel Lowe in the box. 1 ball and 1 strike to Nathaniel Lowe. Brutal, man. 1-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Nathaniel Lowe. 1-2 pitch. High and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Nathaniel Lowe. Should have never pulled him. Again, especially when you're only sitting at in the mid 60s and you're pitching. And Lowe strikes out swinging, 2 away. Next up, catcher Keibert Ruiz. And that dumb decision by Dan Wilson might have cost us the game, unless the bats can come alive in the 7th, 8th, and the 9th. Now, if Emerson was sitting at, even in the high 80s or 90s, then I said, all right, well, if you want to go and pull him, whatever, but you don't pull a guy when you're at 0-0, and he's pitched magnificently up to this point, even though he was, quote unquote, our worst pitcher on the staff, but he hasn't been the worst pitcher lately. He's actually been pretty good. Stupid move by Dan Wilson. Might have cost us the game. And again, Gabe was good at the beginning of the year, but just because you were good at the beginning of the year, you've been really bad or shaky, in the last 5, 6, 7 opportunities, giving up home runs, RBIs, and hits, and it continues. I don't have any trust in Gabe anymore. I did in the beginning of the year, but not anymore. It's like the only guy I trust is Matt Brash. I trust Brash and Munoz. That's it. I don't trust anybody else. I don't trust Legomina. I don't trust, Gabe Spire. I mean, I trust those guys more than the others, like Bizzardo and, Casey Lawrence and some of the others that are very shaky. Colin Snyder, again, but that's the Mariners for you. All right, let's go to the bottom of the 6th inning and see if the Mariners can finally get on the board. Next up, 1-for-1 right fielder Leody Taveras. Batting second, 0-for-1 with a K, third baseman Ben Williamson. And batting third, 0-for-2, shortstop J.P. Crawford. Let's go Mariners. It's not over yet. And at least the managing isn't as bad as like Scott Service, but it definitely shows you that Dan Wilson and his coaching staff, aren't perfect, and they still haven't understood, the assignment, on when to keep a guy in and when to, pull a guy, and bringing the right guy in at the right time if you're going to replace him. So. And I think most Mariner fans, if Wood would have had the same result on Hancock, so be it. When you're only sitting in the mid-60s at pitches, again, the main thing is you got to give up 3 runs or less, and again, the Mariners need to be able to put up 4 runs or more, 7 to 10 hits to win. So it's, it's not Emerson's fault, that we lost this game. If we lost this game, it's not over yet, but again, I think that, it would have been unfortunate, if Emerson would have had that result happen. But again, it's like you finally went almost the distance. And then if they decided to pull him after that, so be it. But, at that given point, unless it's Matt Brash coming into the game, that's the only trustworthy guy that we have in the pen. We don't have anybody else that's trustworthy besides him, Brash, and the closer. Everyone else is very unreliable. So, and I think most fans, they can accept, if Hancock, gave up that big play, because we already assumed that this would be a high-scoring affair. We didn't assume it would be 0-0 in the fucking 6th inning. But it's not over yet. We can still battle back, and hopefully we can find a way to get on the board this inning. First pitch, Leody Taveras fouled off, 0-1 count. But pitching really hasn't been the problem for the Mariners lately. It's been hitting. After that 9 consecutive series streak ended, instead of scoring 6 runs a game or more for a month and a half, we've been scoring 1 to 3. Hard to win games when you're only scoring 1 to 3 runs and the pitching is good. And sometimes the bullpen fucks it up and loses it for us. And once in a while, the starter, like George Kirby yesterday, will lose it for us, but, got to get the bats to come alive. If our bullpen was better, like if we actually had a top 10 bullpen, if we had 3 Matt Brashes and, a couple other guys that were a little bit more trustworthy, then so be it. But when you really only have one guy in the pen that you trust out of 10 guys, that's not good. And most people's favorite MLB team, that's the weakness is, everyone's bullpen is shitty. At some point you got to invest in your bullpen. Instead of signing Donovan Solano and Miles Mastroboni, they should have starred, 2 guys on the list and got either starting pitchers or relievers to come to the team. Why don't teams do that? We already have plenty of infielders and outfielders in the farm. What we need is quality bullpen guys. 0-1 pitch, fouled off again. Behind in the count now, 0-2 to Leody Taveras. 6 more likes to 40. Let's get there. I mean, maybe we haven't scored yet because we haven't got our first dono on the board. It all coincides together. Pitch is low and at the knees. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Gord at Taveras. Can't expect to win if we're not getting support. Bottom of the 6th inning, 2-0 Nationals. Gore on the mound, pitching a gem. Same thing went with Emerson Hancock, but bad decision by Dan Wilson bringing in Gabe Spire. Should have been Matt Brash or nobody. But again, you have to go through these experiences and you live and you learn. And hopefully the next time that Hancock pitches a gem and he ends up getting into a little bit of a jam, that you don't pull him. You let him see his way through it. Pitch is low and at the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Leody Taveras. There we go. Finally. I mean, we normally don't go this long. Thank you, Captain. Appreciate you. Stacks on stacks. Racks on racks. Little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. We're at 5. 95 to go. It all coincides together. Appreciate you. Let me know what you want to do photo-wise, and I got you. Pitch is low and at the knees. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Gore to Tavares. Yeah, we need the most. Come on, Leote, take the walk. Let's go, baby. And the way that Hancock pitched to Wood, you know, in those previous couple at-bats, I mean, he had him in control. It's not like, you know, Wood ended up hitting 2 homers off of him, and they're like, oh, God, we got to pull him now. In play, and Leote singles to center. Here we go. This might be the inning where we get 1, as long as Leote doesn't get caught fucking trying to steal from first to second. It's like we can't, you know, when you're not hitting the baseball well, you can't afford any self-inflicted wounds by getting, you know, thrown out when you're trying to steal a bag. Nice job by Leote. Next up is Ben Williamson. First pitch to Ben, right down the middle, four-seam fastball, 93 miles an hour, fouled off, 0-1 count. Let's drop a bunt at some point. Let's go. We need to get back to the basics. And if we're not going to get back to the basics, you know, stealing bags and bunting and, you know, getting better hitters, you got to get those guys from the farm. Tyler Locklear, Cole Young, Harry Ford. We got 3 that are ready right now, you know. I mean, I don't think any Mariner fan is going to be sad if fucking Mitch Garver, Donovan Solano, and Miles Mastroboni aren't on the team or don't play anymore. You know, especially if we can get young guys that are exciting that can actually produce better offensively and defensively. I mean, what else do you have to lose? You're going to wait until the Astros have first place, and then we're down 5 games in the division to pull the trigger? You know, like, we got to be able to figure it out. Pitches low and at the knees. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Gore to Williamson. Let's go, baby. Got to figure it out. Minnesota Twins are next, and it's not going to be easy. In play. Here we go, baby. Williamson singles to center, and Leote with some wheels going from first to third. Runners on the corners with no outs. And if you're the Washington, manager right here, you pull Gore, right? You always pull a guy when it's the 6th inning, even if it's the pitch count, is a little low like Hancock. But right now, this is where you pull Gore, and then you bring in a guy. But if their bullpen is shaky like the Mariners, then I guess you can keep them in. And there's no guarantee, that we score here. We've had bases loaded, no outs, and got nothing. So, but I do feel that we will get at least one. I mean, you got to be pretty shitty to have guys at first and third with no outs. Even if you get a double play, you should be able to get at least somebody in the next 3 guys to hopefully knock in an RBI, or hopefully we can get a nice 3-run jack. But, we haven't been seeing the baseball very well. J.P. Crawford has been stuck at 4 home runs for quite some time. But you could even bunt in this situation right now, and that could bring home the runner, or, you could end up just getting a little slap single into left or right, and then have the score be 2-1. We don't even need 2 runs in this inning. Obviously that would be best case scenario, 2 or more. But let's just try to get the first one, to stop this bleeding. First pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle, 0-1 count. But this is the best position the Mariners have been in all day. Hancock and Gore were great. It was a pitcher's duel, but something's got to give. And once both starters go out, then the game should open up. 0-1 pitch, big swing and a miss by JP. Behind in the count now, 0-2. Don't strike out, JP. Judah in the building, what's good? And a pitch 5 feet off the plate is called strike 3. You got to be fucking kidding me. What is this ump looking at? The pitch is off the plate by like 5 feet, and they punched him out. That's when you have Dan Wilson come out and get ejected again. I mean, again, like, what are we doing? Don't we have any, like, the ABS, and we can actually have some reviews? There's no way in hell that's strike 3. I mean, again, if you're a good manager, you go out there and you get fucking ejected like Sweet Lou. Jesus Christ, 1 away. Not even close to being in the strike zone. Literally like 5 feet off the plate. How is this strike 3? You got to be shitting me. Terrible. Terrible. And JP is screaming at the ump. And then JP just got ejected. And this ump has been fucking terrible. And here comes in Dan Wilson, and hopefully Dan will get thrown out as well. But JP is screaming at the ump. He's in his face, and he should be. That was terrible. And again, he has been like this all game. Unbelievable. There's no way in hell that was strike 3. All right, Julio, you're up next. First pitch, low and away, 1-0 count to Julio Rodriguez. Runners at first and third with 1 out. Runners on the corners at first and third by Mackenzie Gore. 1-0 pitch, big swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike to Julio Rodriguez. And JP did get ejected. Wilson should have got ejected also. That could have fired us up a little bit more, but you know, I knew JP was going to go off or Wilson was going to go off. I mean, it wasn't even close. And there's been a lot of strikes called balls and balls called strikes, but there's no way that should have been a punch out right there. And there's nothing that JP did wrong, just defending, the call. And it was the correct one, from JP's point of view, not by the ump. Pitch fouled off. 1 ball and 2 strikes with 1 out with runners on first and third. This is the best position the Mariners have been in the matchup so far. Come on, Julio. Takes a strike swinging, big swing and a miss at the knees, inside, and down goes Julio. Fucking A, man. Are you kidding me? Down goes J-Rod. All right. Again, we had runners on the corners with no outs, and we might not get anything. We have to find a way to get at least 1, but at least we got the best guy to get us on the board, and with 1 swing, he'll be at 20 home runs, tied with Shohei Ohtani. And we'll, if he does go yard, tridents up, we'll be up a run, 3-2. Bring the electricity. Let's go, Cal. Missed opportunity by JP, but it was a bad call by the ump, and then he defended the call, got ejected. Wilson should have got ejected as well, but he didn't get ejected. And then J-Rod coming up short at the at-bat. Come on, Mariners. First pitch, high and inside to Cal Raleigh. Big dumper. Fouled that one off. 0-1 count. Oh, 0-1 pitch, low and away with the curveball there, 82 miles an hour by Mackenzie Gore. 1 ball and 1 strike to big dumper Cal Raleigh. I mean, even at this point, a home run would be great, but let's be real. Based on how we played up to this point, we'll take anything. And Williamson to second on a wild pitch by Gore. There we go. Now we got runners at second and third with 2 outs. Come on, Cal. Bottom of the 6th inning, runners at second and third. 2-0 Washington. Come on, Cal. We are one of the top 3 teams in the MLB in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, but it would be awesome to get at least 1 here. You don't want to have runners at first and third with no outs and come up with nothing. Because, then it puts a lot more pressure, for the hitters in the 7th, 8th, and the 9th. Something good has got to come out of this. Come on now. 2-1 pitch. Takes a strike looking right down the middle. 2 balls and 2 strikes to big dumper Cal Raleigh. Megan in the building. How are you? But we don't really see JP, get that animated that often or ejected. But he did have a right to fight that call. And, I'm watching the game, and I got multiple screens up, through MLB.com and ESPN, and it was nowhere near a strike. It was literally 2-3 feet off the plate. Terrible call. And this ump has been extremely bad today. Pitch fouled off, high and inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes with runners at second and third and 2 outs. We need a big dumper, 3-run homer, or even just an RBI single or a 2-run RBI double to tie the game up. Something positive here. Even an RBI single, just to get it to 2-1 would be great. Come on, Cal. 1 for 2 with a K so far. And then once Mackenzie Gore obviously goes out, we should be able to hit a little bit more. Bottom of the 6th, runners at second and third with 2 outs. I appreciate you. Megan trying to get us a nice little rally here. $20 holla. No, I understand. You got a busy schedule, but I do appreciate whenever you come in and showing the love that you do for me and Paisley. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks with a little Cactus Jack, bang, bang. Let me know what you want to do photo-wise for, as we go further into the stream, and I got you. Pitch fouled off. 2 balls, 2 strikes with runners at second and third and 2 outs. And Cal got hit by the pitch. Wow. I wasn't expecting that, but we'll take it as long as Cal isn't hurt. Now we have bases loaded, but I'm not sure, this would be the player that you would want with bases loaded. Hopefully Randy can come up big. Now we have seen Randy, come up big with like grand salami moments, but even an RBI single or double could be huge. Come on, Randy. 0 for 2 with a K. Has not been very reliable like Jorge Polanco, but that can change right now with Randy Arozarena. Looks like Cal's okay as he walks to first. First pitch inside at the knees. 1-0 count. Now, the best scenario also could be Randy doesn't swing. We get a walk here, and then that brings in a freebie run. I mean, you got to find a way to get on any way you can. And maybe him just getting walked here is the way that the Mariners are going to get the first run. 1-0 pitch, inside at the knees again, 2-0 count. Randy, don't swing. If you swing, we may not get anything in this inning. I mean, obviously, if he swings, he could get a grand salami as well, or an RBI single or double, but again, Randy hasn't really been on lately. 2-0 pitch, big swing and a miss. Shouldn't have swung. Could have been 3-0, but now it's 2 balls and 1 strike. This is the best chance for the Mariners to put up runs all day. Bottom of the 6th, bases loaded, 2 outs. 2-1 pitch, big swing and a miss. Randy has no fucking patience whatsoever. It's like watching Julio in March and April. Just doesn't give a fuck. Like, stop playing hero ball. Play within the game. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and swing and a miss, and we get fucking nothing. Are you fucking kidding me? And that's Randy for you. Runners at first and third with no outs, and we get to bases loaded, and you get absolutely nothing. It's going to be very hard to win the game now because mentally, after something like that happens, most teams are not going to be able to recover. Now, luckily, we still have the 7th, 8th, and the 9th, and we're very good. But when you end up having a situation like that, that was almost like a death blow. And again, hopefully, mentally, we're going to be able to recover from that. But we may not. We may end up losing this game 2-0 or more. Brutal. Oh. Okay, let me check my Instagram because I figured that's where you sent it. They keep Mackenzie Gore in, and it was the right decision. And we take Emerson Hancock out early, prematurely, and we get rocks for it. Oh, that's cool. Let's see if I can get it to convert. All right, there we go. Nice little Back to the Future wallet. Mariner Moose, we need you, baby. End of the 6th inning, 2-0 Nats. I like. Very cool. I like the background that they chose with that as well. And the fact that it kind of extends over, the wallet on the left and the right. I like it. Very cool. All right, let's see who's up next here for the Nats in the top of the 7th. Next up for the Nats, 2 for 2, second baseman Luis Garcia Jr. Batting second, 0 for 2, DHing Josh Bell. And batting third, 0 for 2, center fielder Robert Hassel III. Man, I hate having blown opportunities, not only by pulling Emerson Hancock too early, but on top of that, not being able to get at least a run with runners at first and third, with no outs, runners at second and third with one out, and then literally getting nothing. But I think that based on watching Randy, he needs to get demoted like Polo. He needs to go lower in the lineup as well. Instead of Randy hitting in the top 5 spots, he needs to be hitting somewhere through 6 through 8, just like Polo. Again, you need to send the guys down that aren't as reliable and, figuring out guys that, can actually hit. Maybe having Rowdy Tellez, in the 4-hole would be smarter. But obviously he didn't start this game, and that might have been a mistake. And again, just because you have a left-handed pitcher doesn't mean that a left-handed hitter can't get a hit. Like, can we stop with that type of mentality? Like, righties can't hit righties, lefties can't hit lefties. It's literally insane. It's like, what, I would rather go with a left-handed pitcher against one of our shitty batters that's right-handed, and then that's magically going to work? Come on. Top of the 7th inning, 2-0 Nats. First pitch from Vargas to Garcia. Now we got Vargas in there. Holy hell. I don't know if I like that. First pitch, 5 feet off the plate, 1-0 count. Vargas ain't it. 1-0 pitch, 5 feet off the plate again, 2-0 count. Golly. Vargas is terrible. 2-0 pitch. Garcia grounds out to JP, throw to first, 1 away. And Vargas gets bailed out there. I'm not a fan of Carlos Vargas at all. Again, the only guy I trust is Matt Brash in the pen and Andres Munoz. That's it. And then after that, maybe Legomina and Spire once in a while. Next up, DHing Josh Bell. 2-0 Nats. Come on now. Oh, from the third movie. Ooh, you got to get the bag. You got to be matching. In play. And Bell singled to third base. Little base knock there. Damn it, Josh. Little nice base knock. Infield single to third by Bell. Now we just have to pray for a double play right up the middle. Center fielder Robert Hassel III up next. First pitch fouled off with a cutter by Vargas. 0-1 count. Top of the 7th, 2-0 Nats. Oh, wow. That's an expensive bag. I thought it was going to be a little bit cheaper than that. But, yeah, after your trip then. Oh, God. Lee in play. And Hassel the third, single to right. Bell the second. Pull him. Again, you already know when a guy's got it. And, again, it's like, okay, you want to pull Emerson Hancock, who's pitching like Logan Evans, who went 8 innings, and you just because we're going against James Wood, and then you bring in Gabe Spire and these other schmucks, they can't fucking get it done. Like, understand when a guy is hot, you stay with him. You don't pull him. It's like, Dan Wilson is better than Scott Service, but sometimes they're ass backwards. They pull a guy that's doing good, and then they let a guy that's doing shitty, pitch 2 or 3 innings. It's ridiculous. Like, what the fuck are we doing? First pitch to Tenna. Takes the strike looking on the corner. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss from Tenna. Behind in the count now 0-2. But again, it's going to take a miracle for us to come back and win this, it feels like. We still got the 7th, 8th, and 9th. But mentally, to have bases loaded and get nothing, hopefully we can recover from that. Baseball is mental. It's not just physical. Top of the 7th, runners at first and second with 1 out. Vargas on the mound. Tenna in the box. But we do get Bryce Miller back on Saturday. We got Brian Wu tomorrow against the Twins at home. And then we have Bryce Miller coming back. And then Luis Castillo. Fielder's choice, runners out. Hassel out at second there. Bell the third. Now we got runners on the corners at first and third with 2 outs. Next up, right fielder Dalen Lyle. But again, I hope at one point or another, the organization will realize instead of trying to pick up guys in free agency like Solano and Mastroboni. Use that money to get relief pitchers that are good or starters that we can turn into relievers, and then our team will be better. We don't need infielders or outfielders. We have plenty of those in the farm, you know. First pitch from Vargas to Lyle, low and away, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, low and away with the sinker. 2 balls and no strikes from Vargas to Lyle. I mean, really the only chance that we have in this game is if we keep it 2-0. If it ends up getting up higher than that, the chances of us coming back or tying is not very good, based on the production that we've had in the first, 6 innings. We have to make sure that Vargas does not give up a home run or an RBI here, because if he does, the chance of the Mariners winning is almost 0. And Lyle in play and lined out to first. Thank God. So we still have a chance. We're down 2-0, because if it was 3-0, 4-0, or 5-0, it's over. But now we actually still have a chance. Let's see what we can get here up next. JP Crawford got ejected, so we're going to have to go here. Leading off for the Mariners, coming in for JP after the ejection, Leo Rivas. He can start a rally, drop a bunt down. Batting second, 0 for 3 with a K. Come on, baby. Center fielder, Julio Rodriguez. And batting third, 1 for 2 with a K, catcher, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. We can still come back, but again, it shows you we're nowhere near being the same team, in that 9 consecutive series win streak. We were averaging 6 runs a game. We're getting about 1 to 3, within the last 3 weeks. It's been rough. Every once in a while we'll explode like we did game 1 and score 9. But typically when we score 9, we don't do anything the next game, or sometimes the next 2 games before we end up, getting 4 or 5 runs again. So, hopefully we can find a way to get something here in the 7th, 8th, and 9th. All right, so that batting order has been switched up with Leo. So now we're going to go Demo, because it was Randy, obviously, after the adjustment. So we're going to go Demo, leading off, Donovan Solano, and then Jorge Polanco. Can't trust MLB or ESPN. So Demo leading off, Donovan Solano. Hopefully they have Rowdy Tellez pinch hit for Solano. And then, or maybe Mitch Garver. And then we'll go here with Jorge. So maybe it'll be Demo. And then after Demo, they're going to go Miles Mastroboni. They flipped it. So they said, fuck that. So maybe they'll go Miles Mastroboni, Mitch Garver, or maybe Miles Mastroboni, Rowdy Tellez, and Mitch Garver for Demo, Solano, and Polo. Because those 3 guys haven't really done anything. Maybe we'll get 3 consecutive guys pinch hitting here. Maybe that'll be the answer. I don't know. But they're making the adjustments now, and I don't know if it's the right call, but we'll find out. Bottom of the 7th inning. Miles Mastroboni up next. But I think, going Mastroboni for more, fine. He had 2 hits yesterday. Rowdy Tellez for Solano would be smart. And then, going Garver or Polo probably would be smart too. First pitch to Miles Mastroboni. Low and in the zone. Should have been called strike, called ball. And now we're getting makeup calls by this ump after he ejected JP. 1-0 pitch. In the zone for a strike, called ball again. Should be 2 strikes. But it's 2 balls. 2-0 count to Miles Mastroboni. 2-0 pitch, takes a strike looking, and that should have been strike 3. Down goes Mastroboni, but it's 2 balls and 1 strike to Miles. So I don't know if that's a little makeup call or a couple makeup calls, but it doesn't bring the JP back in the lineup. Come on, Miles. Seven more likes to 50. Let's get there. And we'll get some more photos in between the commercial break and at the end of the stream for the people that donated for Captain and Megan and a few others. Pitch fouled off. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Lopez to Mastroboni. We just got to be able to pray that some of their bullpen guys are shaky like our bullpen. We can explode for 1 to 4 runs in any given inning, but who's going to be the guy that starts it off? Pitch is inside. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Lopez to Mastroboni. Come on, Miles. Okay, I got you. Three-two pitch. Fouled off. Count now still full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, nobody on and no outs. Lopez on the mound. Mastroboni in the box. And nice eye by Miles to be able to get the walk there. Here we go. Now we ended up having guys at first and third with no outs and got nothing. Then it was second and third with 1 out and got nothing. And then bases loaded with 2 outs and got nothing. Let's fucking score at least 1. Come on, Mariners. And right now I would be putting in Rowdy Tellez for Donovan Solano, and that's what they're doing. Looks like they got my text message. Here we go. They're listening. All right, let's go, Rowdy. I mean, I've been watching this team so closely, it's like I can almost predict what they're going to do most of the time. Every once in a while, they'll surprise me, but this is the correct move. All right, come on, Rowdy. And then maybe we'll get Garver for Polo, which normally is like, no, but Polo hasn't really done shit for us lately. And maybe Mitch can get an RBI single, depending on if Rowdy can get on or if Rowdy can hit a homer here. First pitch to Rowdy Tellez, right down the middle, called ball. What is this ump doing? Like, is he trying to like really get into our good graces? The pitch is right down the middle, and he's calling ball. I don't think I've ever seen an ump this bad in 2025. I know we've had Angel Hernandez in the past, but literally right down the middle, there's no way it's a ball. It's a strike, but he called ball. And then we had 3 feet off the plate, called a punch out. Like, I don't know what's going on today. I don't know who this ump pissed off or if he's got some kind of bet going on, but this is unbelievable. And then we got Keibert Ruiz trying to call. Lopez is talking shit to Tellez. It's like, dude, you guys are already up and you're getting all the calls. What are you bitching about? He had a pitch right down the middle called ball, and he started complaining and whatnot. But what about the Mariners? We've already had like 10 bad calls tonight. Like, dude, you're a relief guy. Like, shut the fuck up. You're up 2-0. 1-0 pitch. Takes a strike looking in the zone. Finally a correct call by this ump. But literally everything is like in the upside down in Stranger Things. Strikes are balls, balls are strikes. And even when things are 2-3 feet off the plate, he's calling punch outs. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this, in 2025. Unbelievable. 1-1 pitch. Takes a strike looking in the zone. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Lopez to Tellez. Come on, Rowdy. One-two pitch, low and away with the changeup, 87 miles an hour by Lopez. 2 balls and 2 strikes with a runner at first and no outs. Rowdy Tellez in the box. Come on, Rowdy. Man, I don't know, but like I said, I've seen some bad umps, and we complain about them in pretty much every game, but by far, this is the worst one that I've seen, and I've called pretty much every game of the Mariners so far this season. Maybe besides like 1 or 2 that I missed because we did like WrestleMania. But I still watched the game, even though WrestleMania was going on, but this is insane. Bottom of the 7th, runner at first. 2-2 pitch. Knuckle curve, low and in the zone, fouled off. 2 balls, 2 strikes with a runner at first and no outs. You got 2 guys warming up in the pen for the Nats. Come on, Rowdy, grind it out, baby. All right, I got you. Come on, Ems. Knuckle curve. Again, Rowdy is grinding. 7th pitch in this at-bat. And again, we need runs. We need hits. Can't lose to the fucking Nats. We only have 4 hits all game, but, Nats have 5 and an error, but they have the key a Wood double the left, their best player, Abrams and Tenna scored to give them a 2-0 lead, and that happened in the 6th. And we've had a couple of missed opportunities with guys on base, but something's got to give. And Rowdy strikes out swinging. Fuck. Down goes Rowdy. And then now, they'll have to make a decision if they want to bring in Mitch Garver for Polo or if they'll stick with Polo. It is a righty on the mound, so they're going to stick with Polo because it is a righty. All right, Polo. I mean, you've been so cold after starting off as the best player on the team early in the season. Please get something, Polo. Wake up. First pitch from Lopez to Polo. Knuckle curve, low and away, 1-0 count. Come on, baby. First game was 9-1 Mariners yesterday, and we lost 9-0. Something's got to give. Bottom of the 7th, runner at first. 1-0 pitch, in play, and Polo grounds out to first. Masterboni to second, 2 away. Oh, man, brutal. All right, next up, a guy that actually has been good today. 2 for 2, the best player today, Leody Taveras. Come on, Leody. I mean, we did get a home run from Leody in the White Sox series to help us win, right? When it looked like we were going to lose. We did get a homer in the Astros series as well. Could Leody get us a homer in the Nats series and help us win this series like we did against the White Sox in play? Here we go, Leody. You. Here we go. Leody singles to left. Masterboni scores, and we're on the board. Woo! 3 for 3 day from Leody Taveras. Finally, we get on the board. My goodness. Let's go. Woo! Here we go. Next up is Ben Williamson. Finally. Never doubt us, but again, it's been rough. It has not been what we thought. We did not think this was going to be a pitcher's duel, but all we need is just to get that first run. We've been bleeding out for 7 innings, and we finally get on the board. And Leody steals second after getting thrown out earlier in the game. Here we go. Let's go, baby. Bottom of the 7th with a runner at second in scoring position now, Leody Taveras. Again, sometimes you got to, talk a guy up, when he's been playing well and also bringing up the past series where he's been stepping up. And Leody stepped up in the White Sox series. He did pretty good in that Astros series as well for a few games. And here we go, trying to single-handedly win the game for the Mariners. 3 for 3 day. Let's go. Three for 3, baby. Let's go. Sometimes it's like the least likely heroes on the team. Again, it can't be Julio and Cal all the time. And Taveras to third on a wild pitch by Lopez. Don't go home. Don't get thrown out there. Here we go. And now we got a full count to Ben Williamson. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and hopefully Ben can just take a walk here. Bottom of the 7th, 2-1 Nats. Runner at third, Leody. And Leody is definitely the MVP of the game so far. Here we go. Ben, let's go. Hell yeah. Williamson singles to right. Taveras scores. 2-2. We back, baby. Woo! Woo! Man, this team is something else. You know, just like getting your ass kicked over and over and over. Both pitchers were good, Gore and Emerson Hancock. They pulled Hancock too early, and then, you know, Wood made him pay, but at least we were able to come back on their bullpen as well, and we're back. You know, and that's what, you know, you have to realize in baseball. No matter how bad it looks for 5, 6, 7, 8 innings, it's never over until it's over. And again, the game resets after the starting pitchers go out, and you just have to hope. If your bullpen is shaky, so is theirs. And that's exactly what happened. And here we go. Next up is Leo Rivas. Let's go. Fuck yeah. Let's go, Leo. Way to bring the electricity at the bottom end of the order. Leote is the MVP of the game, and nice job by Big Ben. Let's go. Can't always be Julio and Cal. But now, since we were able to tie the game up, now is the time, you know, in the 8th or the 9th where you do get that big play by Julio or Cal or both, and maybe those guys will end up helping us win the game. Looks like we might have a pitching change. Let's go, baby. All right, let's see if I can squeeze in a few photos here for Megan for her dono. Bottom of the 7th inning, runner at first with 2 outs, and we finally tied it up, baby. Let's go. Appreciate you. Good old Steve Largent, baby. Try to squeeze in a few more when we have a few more commercial breaks. Let's go. All right, Henry's coming in and relieving Lopez. First pitch to Leo Rivas, takes the strike looking, 0-1 count. Oh-1 pitch inside with a 4-seam fastball, 1 ball and 1 strike from Henry to Rivas. And it shows you, like, you know, starting pitching is great, but once the starters go out, I mean, it's a whole new ball game. And usually the relievers that come in are much worse than the starters, you know, depending on, you know, who you have starting. If it's a good pitcher, bad pitcher, a good outing, or a bad outing. You can have a good pitcher like George Kirby fuck it all up like yesterday, you know, but you can have guys that are traditionally thought of as, you know, still young, you know, like Logan Evans and Emerson Hancock, but those two guys have been better than George Kirby and Bryce Miller this year. So sometimes you have to understand it's not what they did in the past, it's what they're doing right now. What have you done for me lately, baby? 1-1 pitch, and Rivas tries to go for the bunt. At least someone's getting my messages. It goes foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Henry to Rivas. And if we get anything more this inning, it would be great, but we did the job. I would have been happy with 1 run in the 7th, but to get the tie is huge. It definitely increases our chances of winning this game now, 90%. And again, if we can get another run, you know, in this inning would be great, but I wouldn't really be expecting us to get anything else. Sometimes the rally ends, you know, you get the emotional lift, you know, you're not bleeding out anymore. You know, you got the Band-Aid on, and, you know, hopefully we can end up getting a run or 2 in the 8th and the 9th as well, and we don't give up anymore. But we'll see who they have coming in on the pen on the Mariners side. Bottom of the 7th with a runner at first and 2 outs. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Henry to Rivas. And obviously the pitchers that they've had after Gore have been really shaky, and that's exactly what we needed. And Williamson stole second. There we go. Nice job, Big Ben. Let's go, baby. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 50 likes and beyond. And obviously, we'll shoot for 100 in the donos on every single stream. Pitch fouled off, high and away with the curveball, 91 miles an hour, 81. Henry, not that fast on that one. And there it is, 2-2 pitch, and Reba strikes out swinging. Kind of felt that was going to be the end of the rally. I do love Leo, but again, once you end up having that emotional lift where you end up scoring, at some point it ends. And it ended there, and I'm not surprised, but I'm really happy that we were able to tie the game up there. Instead of, the Mariners' 90% chance losing, if we would have gotten nothing that inning. I mean, just imagine if we were able to get at least a run the previous inning when we had runners at, first and third with no outs, right? Then it was runners at second and third with, 2 outs. And then we had bases loaded with 2 outs and then absolutely got nothing. And if we would have gotten at least one, we'd be up 3-2. But hey, better late than never. So just a quick review in the matchup. If you're just tuning in, Emerson Hancock, as well as Mackenzie Gore pitched gems. Mackenzie Gore, 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, no earned runs, no walks, 8 Ks, 95 pitches, 60 strikes. And then Emerson Hancock got pulled prematurely, 5.1 innings pitched, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, 4 Ks. He was only at 65 pitches. Emerson Hancock could have went 8 innings like Logan Evans, but they decided to pull him at the Wood at bat, and Wood doubled the left. Abrams and Tenna scored, 2-0 Nats in the 6th. And then we thought, oh, fuck, this is over. And then finally, Leote singled the left, Masterboni scored, and that just happened, 2-1 Nats. And then Williamson singled the right, Tavares scores, and we're knotted up at 2. So nice to be able to see that the bottom end of the order stepped up, and we'll see what we have here next. Top of the 8th inning, 0 for 2 with a run, base on ball and a K, shortstop CJ Abrams. Batting second, 1 for 2 with 2 RBIs, base on ball and a K, home run in game number 1, home run in game number 2, and a big 2-run RBI in game number 3, James Wood. And batting third, first baseman Nathaniel Lowe. Let's go Mariners. And we're bringing in Brash. I like that. All right, let's go. My favorite guy in the pen, not named Andres Munoz. Let's go, baby. And I know Brash is coming off, Tommy John, but I would love to, see him pitch more than an inning at some point this season. Top of the 8th inning, we're knotted up at 2. MVP of the game, 3 for 3, Leote Tavares. First pitch from Brash to CJ Abrams, fouled off, 0-1 count. Let's go, baby. Let's go, Brash. Oh, 0-1 pitch, takes a strike, swinging in the zone with the knuckle curve. Behind in the count now, 0-2 to CJ Abrams. I mean, I hope that Brash's arm, and they're obviously being tentative with him, but it's like they let guys like Colin Snyder and Casey Lawrence and Carlos Vargas pitch 2 innings. But that Brash pitch 2 innings. If it's like for whatever reason, it's like sometimes you don't see Legomina and Spire pitch 2, and I understand why, but, Brash is good enough where he can pitch in the 6th, 7th, 8th, or 9th. He is the best guy in the bullpen that's not a closer. And obviously we know Andres Munoz is the best closer in baseball. But this is one of the best bullpen guys in MLB, Matt Brash. And hopefully we can get the side retired here, and then we can put up another run in the bottom of the 8th. 0-2 pitch, fouled off, low and away. Top of the 8th, we're knotted up at 2. CJ Abrams 0 for 2 with a walk in the 6th and a run. We can get CJ out. Let's go, Brash. And CJ Abrams, big swing and a miss. Brash says, see ya. Nice job, Matt. You're the man. There's a reason why you're my favorite in the pen. Bring in that electricity, baby. Nice job, Matt. Next up, the best player on the team. Home run in game number 1. Home run in game number 2. 2-run RBI in game number 3. James Wood. Got to find a way. Really fun player to watch. But again, you have to pitch to him smart here. First pitch, high and inside, takes a strike looking. Should have been called ball, but called strike. But this ump is the worst that I've seen out of anybody, calling balls strikes and strikes balls. And J.P. Crawford got ejected because of it. Pitches outside with the changeup, 5 feet off the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike from Brash to Wood. One pitch, fouled off, tried to jam the hitter, and does. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Brash to Wood. And James is really fun to watch. I just don't want him to, beat us here. He's already done the damage. We got to have Brash get out of this inning unscathed. And Wood strikes out swinging. Brash, you're an animal. There's a reason why he's the best guy. I don't talk up guys for nothing. See ya. Strikeout number 2 for Brash. I mean, there shouldn't really be any type of conversation other than he is lights out. There is no one on the Matt Brash level besides Andres Munoz as our closer. Let's go. Best player on the team, see ya. Leadoff hitter, see ya. And next up, let's see if he can complete the trifecta. 0 for 3 with 2 Ks. Punch him out. I know you can. Nathaniel Lowe. First pitch, takes a strike looking in the zone. 0-1 count. Oh, he's on a heater. You could actually have Brash pitch in the 9th if you wanted. I don't know if they will. They probably won't. But, God, he is lights out. 0-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Low and at the knees. Behind in the count now 0-2. All he needs is 1 more strike, and he'll retire to the side with 3 punch-outs. When's the last time you've seen a Mariner reliever punch out 3 guys in a row? You haven't. Let's go. In play. Fuck. And he singled the right. I was really hoping for the 3 consecutive punch-outs. I must have jinxed it there. All right, nice hit by Nathaniel Lowe, but we can't afford anything else. Next up is catcher Keibert Ruiz. We can get him with a pop-up or a ground out. I mean, unless he strikes out from Brash, but I kind of feel it'll be a ground out or a pop-up. Let's go. 2 punch-outs out of 3, though, is money. But again, he has a chance to get, 3 strikeouts out of 4 batters. Let's see what he has here. First pitch, fouled off, in the zone, 0-1 count. And Brash always finds a way to put himself in a good position, typically putting the hitter in an 0-2 count often. Hard to be able to get a hit, when you're 0-2 rather than 2-0. 0-1 pitch, should have been called strike, right? Same location, but called ball. What is this ump looking at? Should be no balls and 2 strikes, but it's called 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 pitch, fouled off, low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Brash to Ruiz. Let's go, baby. You can get Keibert Ruiz out. Top of the 8th, we're knotted up at 2. Let's go, Matt. You're the man. I don't talk up you for nothing. Bring that electricity. You already got 2 Ks. Let's make it 3. Top of the 8th, runner at first with 2 outs. 2-2 game. Let's go, Matt. Ruiz 0 for 3 today. On deck, Luis Garcia Jr. In play. Fuck, and another single. Man, what's going on here? 2 punch outs and 2 singles. Come on, Matt, settle down. Next up, second baseman, Luis Garcia Jr. Where the hell is the defense there? First pitch to Luis Garcia Jr. Takes a strike looking, 0-1 count. You just got to be able to complete it here. And even though he gave up 2 hits, it's still the correct guy to have in there. I still trust Brash more than anybody in the pen. More than Gabe Spire, more than Casey Legomina, who probably are the second and third best. And even those guys have been fucking up lately. But just don't give up the lead. We have to still be tied as we go to the bottom of the 8th. I don't give a shit if they get 3 hits and it's bases loaded. Just don't give up a run. Come on, Brash. Fresh off Tommy John surgery. And he's been electric. And every start, he hasn't had really a bad outing since he came back to the team. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. Help your boy out. Let's see if we can get to 60 or 70 likes. Where are we at on the likes, Captain? Let's see if we can get to 60 or 70 before the stream ends. Here we go. And Garcia in play. And Ruiz the second, and Lowe is thrown out at home. Wow, we got extremely lucky there. They ended up going 2 punch outs, back to back hits, but then a nice throw to home, and Cal tags out Lowe at home, and we give up nothing. Man, holy cow. If the throw was not spot on, which it normally isn't, we have no chance of getting the runner there, and we ended up getting him by, 2 or 3 feet. So thank God that was a good throw to home, because think about how many times that play has happened where the throw is completely off to home. Luckily, that got into Cal's mitt early, and we didn't give up anything. Nice job by Brash with 2 punch outs. Got a little shaky there at the end, but we had good defense to bail him out, and we're still knotted up at 2. Trident's up. Go Mariners. Fuck yeah. All right, here we go, and this is where we win the game. Right here in the 8th and the 9th. Leading off for the Mariners, 0 for 3 with a K. He can definitely get a single, double, triple, home run. Julio Rodriguez. Batting second, 1 for 2 with a K. Catcher, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. And batting third, 0 for 3 with 2 Ks. Just don't fucking swing. Left fielder, Randy Arozarena. You can get a walk or get plunked. That's going to be better than you striking out. Let's go, Randy. Trident's up. Let's go. See if I can squeeze in a few more photos for Megan here during the commercial break. Appreciate you. Let's go, Mariner Moose. We need it. First pitch to Julio Rodriguez, high and away. Now, if this was in March or April, he would have swung at that. And luckily here, in March and April, but in May, he's been a hell of a lot more patient. Actually listening to Seitzer, Edgar, and Ichiro, and it shows. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike looking in the zone. 1 ball and 1 strike from Henry to Julio. 1-1 pitch, in play. And Julio gets hit. Wow. I was hoping that would be Randy, but I guess it was premature. Julio getting plunked. Hopefully he's okay. Next up is big dumper Cal Raleigh, and this would be the perfect time for the Trident to come out with a 2-run jack, and then we end up winning this game 4-2 or better. Let's go, Cal. We'll take a single, double, triple. Hey, Trident's up. We'll take anything that you'll give us. Let's go, Cal. Best catcher in baseball, period. Number 1 in the American League in homers with 19. Second place to Shohei Ohtani, who's got 20. Unbelievable. We have our own Shohei Ohtani, Aaron Judge on the Mariners. Julio going down, and hopefully he's okay. Julio wincing a little bit. Can't have Julio get injured. That's for damn sure. Let's see. Look at the replay to see where he got hit at. Oh, shit. Got hit right on the bottom of the hand, on the wrist. Hopefully he's okay. Right here. On that right hand. And he's down to 1 knee, but I think he'll be okay. But, you got to be careful, because sometimes when you get hit on the wrist or on the hand, you can have a hairline fracture. You can have, a bone break. They're in your hand, wrist, finger. Got to be very careful. And they're still looking at Julio. He's a tough son of a bitch, though. He'll be all right. And the trainers are still looking at Julio, so they're definitely taking their sweet time to make sure he's all right. Next up will be big dumper Cal Raleigh. Bottom of the 8th, runner at first and no outs. And Julio has been wincing here for almost 5 minutes. Crowd gives a nice ovation, and Julio is limping his way to first. Let's go. pup just came in here. She wants to see what's going on with this action. All right, first pitch from Henry to Cal Raleigh. Julio's still in the game at first base. He's tough. Pitches inside, tries to jam the hitter, and finally we get Cal batting from the left side, not the right side. And hopefully this will end up happening. First pitch, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch with the cutter. Same location, 88 miles an hour. 2 balls and no strikes from Henry to Cal. And Julio steals second. Wow. Even with the injury to the wrist, he says, fuck it. I'm going to win this game for the team. Let's go, Julio. The last thing that we need is Julio to get thrown out trying to steal bags from first to second, second to third. Good job. 2-0 count here on Cal Raleigh. 2-0 pitch. Big swing and a miss. 2 balls and 1 strike from Henry to Cal. Come on, Cal. We need our dynamic duo of Jordan and Pippen, Julio and Cal, to get it done. Let's go. Julio still did his job, even though he got plunked. Let's see if Cal can do his. Let's go. Trident's up. Bottom of the 8th inning, Julio at second with no outs, 2-2 game. The game is definitely in reach, but it wasn't looking very good for the first 6 innings. It looked like we were going to end up losing like we did yesterday, but maybe even more painfully. We lost, yesterday 9-0, but again, you got to be able to have that faith. Sometimes a blind faith. 2-1 pitch, fouled off right down the middle. That was the pitch that Cal was looking for, but a little late there on the swing. Use that torpedo bat, Cal. 2 balls, 2 strikes, no outs. Runner at second, Julio. Game knotted up at 2. And again, this is one of the better positions that we've been in to get something to happen. I mean, besides having the bases loaded, with 1 out and not getting anything. Had runners at first and third with no outs. Then it ended up being runners at second and third with 1, bases loaded with 2, and got nothing. 2-2 pitch, high and away. 4-seam fastball. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Cal Raleigh. Let's go, Cal. Pitch fouled off. Tries to jam the hitter. High and tight. 4-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour. Count still full. 3 balls and 2 strikes with a runner at second, Julio, with no outs. Nats and Mariners tied up at 2. We need this. This is a must-win game for us. We won game 1 9-1. Got our ass kicked yesterday 9-0 with Kirby making his second start, from rehab, and he looked fucking terrible. Logan Evans and Emerson Hancock have looked great, but we got to find a way for these bats to come alive. Bottom of the 8th, runner at second, no outs, 2-2 game. Henry on the mound. And there is ball 4. Cal Raleigh with a walk. Good eye, Cal. Much better than striking out. All right, here we go. Again, I don't have a whole lot of faith with Randy or Polo, but at some point, they got to come up with something, right? And maybe this will be the time. Just don't fucking swing and you can get on base, or maybe they'll plunk him. First pitch, high and outside. No. Low and outside with the curve. 1-0 count. And if that was Randy in earlier at-bats, he would have swung at that garbage. Just don't fucking swing. I don't know if he's got the same kind of Julio Rodriguez, hero mentality, where he's got to have to play hero ball in every swing. Just, take what they give you, And again, it's okay to get on with a walk. I mean, he does get plunked a lot like Ty France, but, it seems like he's not really seeing the baseball very well. And he really hasn't been very good this season. But hopefully that'll change here. And it doesn't. Arozarena pops up. 1 away. Brutal. Next up is Miles Mastroboni. Come on, Miles. He did have 2 hits yesterday. Walk earlier here today. Come on, Miles. It's crazy to say that you have more faith in a Miles Mastroboni or a Mitch Garver to get a hit lately than Randy Arozarena or Jorge Polanco, but that's the truth. It's like we got a lot of guys that have gotten really cold, and Randy never really has been hot all year. He's had a couple games where he played pretty well, but really I think the last time that he played well was when we played Skubal at the beginning of the year and the Tigers, and that was at the beginning of the year. So bottom of the 8th, they're making another pitching change here, and hopefully we can find the right combination of shitty bullpen pitcher for the Nats, and we can get lucky with a nice base knock by Mastroboni, who did have 2 hits yesterday. Hopefully that'll carry over here today. So we got runners at first and second with 1 out. We're tied up at 2. Hopefully we can find a way to get at least 1 run to take the lead. Let's go, Miles. Chaos ball, man. It's never pretty for the Mariners, especially after our winning streak ended. You know, it's like we really are having to grind out these wins. And sometimes the losses are very painful, but hopefully Miles will be like this photo and he can connect. Let's go, baby. Got to find a way. It hasn't been pretty, but we need all the good luck charms that we can get. Bottom of the 8th, runners at first and second with 1 out. Miles Mastroboni in the box, who normally is not reliable and is in the same kind of boat as Randy or Polo lately and a lot of others and whatnot. We don't have access to J.P. Crawford. He got ejected off a pitch that was like 3 feet off the plate. That was called a punch out. But again, I've called pretty much every game on stream besides 1 or 2 for like WrestleMania that I did. But this is by far the worst ump that we've had all season. And again, you know, when a player ends up getting ejected, you know, or a manager, you know, that typically ends up being the case. All right, first pitch to Miles Mastroboni. Takes a strike looking right down the middle. 0-1 count. Let's go, Miles. Focus, baby. I mean, hell, we'll even take a walk. Just get on base. Let him know, Captain. We got half of the people in the room. See if we can get to 100 likes before the stream ends. We got enough people to do it. In play. And Mastroboni grounds out to second. And we got runners still at second and third with 2 outs. Here we go. Next up is Rowdy Tellez. Come on, Rowdy. With 1 swing, the game can be over. You can have a 3-run jack right here or an RBI single or an RBI double and make it either 3-2, 4-2, or 5-2. Let's go, Rowdy. Bring that electricity, baby. Let's go. First pitch, takes a strike looking with that sinker. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch from Ferrer to Tellez. Fouled off right down the middle. Behind in the count now 0-2. Come on, Rowdy. RBI single, RBI double, home run. Trident's up. Let's go. Oh-2 pitch. Fouled off with that sinker. Still behind in the count 0-2. Let's go, Rowdy. Bottom of the 8th. Runners at second and third with 2 outs. We're knotted up at 2. We were getting our ass kicked 2-0 for the longest time. Got to find a way to take the lead here because we don't know what's going to happen in the 9th. Pitches low and away with the changeup. 87 miles an hour by Ferrer. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Rowdy Tellez. Come on, Rowdy. Must-win game. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. And we got the fucking Minnesota Twins, you know, coming up. So, again, no days off. You know, we play tomorrow. Brian Wu on the mound tomorrow. Bryce Miller making his return to the okay, let's go, Bryce. And then, obviously, Luis Castillo on Sunday. And Tellez grounds out to third, and we get nothing. Fuck. Damn it. All right, end of the 8th inning. Let's go to the top of the 9th. And hopefully we can still find a way to win this in regulation or in extras. Next up for the Nats, 1 for 3, DHing Josh Bell. Batting second, 1 for 3, center fielder Robert Hassel III. And batting third, 0 for 2 with a run and a base on ball, third baseman Jose Tena. Let's go Mariners. And I don't know if they're going to let Matt Brash come out, again, but they typically only let him pitch like an inning. So we will see who they decide to bring out. 17 pitches, 15 strikes. Is that good? You let me know. Matt Brash, even though he did give up some of those hits, it didn't end up costing us the game. So. All right, we got to channel in some good vibes here. Oh, we got Munoz coming in. They're not fucking around, are they? Normally they don't bring in Munoz when the game is tied, but we need some good Ichiro vibes. There we go. Come on, baby. Let's go, Ichi. All right, let's go, Munoz. My pup, she can't decide if she wants to stay or go. Yes, honey, I know. First pitch from Munoz to Bell, outside, 1-0 count. Yes, give me a second. I'll get you food in just a second, okay? Give me 1 second. One-0 pitch, takes a strike swinging, low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Munoz to Bell. Let's go, Andres. 23 games, 1-0 record, an ERA of 0.00 when you're almost 55 games in. Incredible. And Bell lines out to center, 1 away. Down goes Bell. Next up, Robert Hassel III. Hold on. First pitch to Robert Hassel III, high and away. 1-0 count. Top of the 9th, 2-2, Nats and Mariners. My pup is whining. She wants food. So after this top of the 9th is over, I got to run to the garage, get her some food, and get her some new water. In play on the 1-0 pitch and grounded out to second. Throw to first. 2 away. Yes, I hear you, baby. Just a second. 1 more batter, hopefully. Next up, 0 for 2 with a run and a base on ball, third baseman Jose Tena. Let's go, Munoz. First pitch, low and away, fouled off, 0-1 count. Top of the 9th inning, we're knotted up here at 2. Interesting. Hopefully they let the coach, go longer, than 1 year, after, going, 1 route and having a guy for a few years and, then going with Bilisma for a year and firing him. Hopefully we go longer than 1 year with a guy to see what they can do. Pitch fouled off, high and away. Behind in the count now 0-2 from Munoz to Tena. 0-2 pitch. 5 feet off the plate by Munoz, which is rare. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Tena. Top of the 9th, tied up at 2. 2 outs. Tena is 0 for 2 with a walk in the 6th. 1-2 pitch. Low and away. Slider, 85 miles an hour by Munoz. 2 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. 1 more strike and we can get out of this inning. 2-2 pitch. Low and away. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Jose Tena. Come on, Munoz. My pup is hungry. She needs food and water. I'm almost done, baby. Top of the ninth. Nobody on. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. 3-2 pitch. Low and at the knees, but away. 4-seam fastball trying to paint that corner. Should have been strike 3, but called ball. But it wasn't a ball. It was fouled off. Count remains 3-2. I didn't know if Tenna was going to swing at that or not. And here we go. 3-2 pitch. And Tenna strikes out swinging. Here we go. Let's go for a Mariner win here in the bottom of the ninth. Let me go get my pup some food real quick so I don't miss any of the action. We're still knotted up at 2. Let's go. All right, I'm back. All right, baby. Got my pup some fresh water. Got her a little snack. We're going to be going on a long walk. Hopefully it'll be a victory walk. We're in the bottom of the ninth. Let's see who is up here for the Mariners. Who's going to be the hero? I can already tell you who it's going to be. Leading off for the Mariners, 0 for 3, DHing Jorge Polanco. Batting second, the MVP of the game, 3 for 3 with a run and an RBI. Let's make it 4 for 4, Leody Taveras. This will be the Leody Taveras game if he comes up big here. And batting third, 2 for 3 with an RBI and a K, Big Ben Williamson. Let's go B-dubs. Hell, at this point, I would even consider having Garver, pinch hit for Polo. Polo really hasn't done shit, for quite some time. And obviously, we know Polo normally is a better hitter than Mitch Garver. But again, 0 for 3. I mean, how many chances are we going to give him? And, I hope Polo comes up big and hits a solo dinger and walks off and we win 3-2. But, he's been pretty cool and pretty cold lately. But you still got an opportunity to do something here. Let's go Mariners. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us try to get as close to 100 likes as we can in the stream. And we're at 25, 75 to go. First pitch from Ferrer to Polo. Takes a strike looking in the zone. And Polo batting from the right rather than the left is a big downgrade. He's not as good from that side. So, I think I would rather have Garver in this situation if I'm being honest. But let's see if Polo can do something from the right side. Not as good of a hitter from that side. 0-1 count. Come on, Polo. Oh, 0-1 pitch in play, and the bunt grounds out to the catcher. Wasted opportunity there. Polo's not even worth. He went and got demoted from the 2-hole to the 7-hole. It didn't fucking work. Maybe you need to bench him. Next up, right fielder Leody Taveras. First pitch. Takes a strike looking outside of the zone. Should have been called ball, but called strike. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch. Fouled off right down the middle. Behind in the count now, 0-2 from Ferrer to Taveras. Come on, Leody. 3 for 3 day. Let's see if you can make it 4 for 4 and be the hero. Come on, baby. Ferrer on the mound, Leody in the box. Bottom of the ninth, 2-2, Nats and Mariners. And again, we battled back, but now this is where we got to put our foot down and, and try to get this game over with. 8 to 9 hitters today, 5 for 6. Doesn't get any better than that. Pitches inside with that sinker. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Leody Taveras. Come on, baby. One-two pitch. And Taveras pops out to second, 2 away. No 4-for-4 day for Leote, but he's done his job. Still love you, brother. All right, next up, 2 for 3 with an RBI and a K. Another guy that's had a great game, Big Ben Williamson. Let's go, Big Ben. I don't think he really has the, necessarily the power to walk off, but he can get on base with a single or a double if we're lucky. Or maybe even getting on with a walk or getting plunked. First pitch, inside at the knees with a sinker. 1-0 count. Bottom of the ninth, 2 outs. Fair on the mound, Williamson in the box. 1-0 pitch, sinker at the knees. 2 balls and no strikes with nobody on and 2 outs to Ben Williamson. Let's go, Big Ben. Come on, Big Ben. Let's go, B-Dubs. Bottom of the ninth, nobody on, 2-2 game. In play. And Williamson grounds out to the shortstop, throw to first, and down go the Mariners in the bottom of the ninth. Now we have to find a way to win this game 3-2 in 10 or 11. Oh, man, we can't lose this game. All right, let's go to the top of the 10th and see who's up next for the Nats. Next up for the Nats, 0 for 3 with a K, right fielder in the 9-hole, Dalen Lyle. Batting second, 0 for 3 with a run, base on ball and 2 Ks, shortstop CJ Abrams. And batting third, the best player on the team, 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs, base on ball, 2 Ks, left fielder James Wood. Let's go, Mariners. I'm going to go grab a water. Oh, God, we have Colin Snyder in the game. It's like we had Brash out there and Munoz, and now we got Snyder. Oh, God. I don't have really a whole lot of confidence in Colin Snyder. I hope he can do it. I mean, we've already used our 2 most reliable pitchers in Brash and Munoz. We're going to need a little bit of faith. Come on, Mariner Moose, help us. Let's go. Two more likes to 70. Let's see if we can get to 80 before the stream ends. We're at 68. 12 more to go to get to 80. 2 more to get to 70. We can definitely do that. Let's go. Definitely was a pitching duel between Mackenzie Gore and Emerson Hancock. One manager kept the pitcher in. The other took him out. And again, if we just let Emerson Hancock stay in, maybe we win this game in regulation. All right, Colin Snyder, 21 games, 1-0 record, 3.52 ERA with 23 innings pitched. But, the stats can say that. But as far as trust factor and the eye test, he's very shaky. He's not as reliable as the stats say, but hopefully it'll come true here. First pitch from Colin Snyder to Lyle, inside with the ball. And that is a wild pitch by Snyder on the first pitch. Jesus Christ. Runner advances to third. Henna. We might lose this now. Jesus Christ, man. Colin Snyder, you're terrible. Just like I said, you can look at the stats, but the eye test and the vibe, I don't trust him whatsoever. All the way back to the screen on that first pitch. Come on, Snyder. Top of the 10th inning, now runner at third after the first pitch by Colin Snyder being wild. And 1-0 pitch, sac fly, deep to right. Tennis scores, now we're down 3-2. Brutal. Next up is shortstop CJ Abrams. 0 for 3 with a run, base on ball, and 2K. And obviously the momentum now, has shifted, and it shows you if you don't have a good bullpen, then this is what happens. First pitch, and Abrams crushes that to center, and he gets into second base safe. Jesus. We're really blowing this game right now, aren't we? Missed opportunity there by Julio, and then now an intentional walk to James Wood, which we probably should have did that the first time around. Next up is Nathaniel Lowe. Runners at first and second with 1 out with a 3-2 lead now by the Nats. We need a double play. First pitch, inside at the hips. Four-seam fastball, tries to jam the hitter, 1-0 count. Terrible decision to bring in Snyder. I mean, too bad we couldn't have Brash go 2 innings or Munoz go 2 innings, but I mean, that's what happens when you only have one good bullpen pitcher and one, amazing closer in Munoz. And then you got about 6, 7, 8 guys that are very streaky in the pen. Most of them are below average, or that haven't been good lately, that are normally good like Spire and Legomina, but not trustworthy lately. Pitches inside at the knees. 2-0 count from Snyder to Lowe. Top of the 10th. I mean, we can still come back, but again, will the bats come alive in the bottom of the 10th? I mean, I think at this point right now, it's not looking very good because they might score more before we actually get to our at-bat. And in play, and fuck, this one might be over. Lowe singles to left, Abrams scores, Wood to second, now it's 4-2. I think we lost. I mean, it's going to be really tough. If we were able to hold them to just 1 run, there might have been like a 10% chance, to actually tie it or win. Now with giving up 2 and there's only 1 out, the chance of winning this game drops all the way down to 1%. 1% to maybe tie, maybe a 0.5% to win. I mean, that's what happens, man. You end up having a bad individual coming in, and thanks a lot, Colin Snyder, you fucking bum. Game might be over now. Now, is it possible that the Mariners can score 1 or 2 runs in the 10th? Yeah, especially if we have a ghost runner at second, a runner in scoring position. There's a chance, but it's going to take a miracle now, to just tie it up, to force another inning. To win it, that's even going to be taking it to a whole nother level. That's Dan Wilson. He wanted to only go 1 inning with Brash and 1 inning with Munoz, but probably should have went 2 innings with both. If they, in play to Ruiz, and a fielder's choice. Runner is safe, and now you got bases loaded with 1 out, and the Nats with a 2-run lead. And then we got the Minnesota Twins starting tomorrow. If this isn't a sign that we need to call up guys from the farm, I don't know what is. I mean, almost losing, to the White Sox, and then, only winning 1 game out of 4 against the Astros. I mean, if we keep playing like this, we're going to be in second place behind the Astros very, very soon. I mean, they're nipping at our heels, and we're not playing good ball right now. I mean, the pitching has been pretty good, but now the hitting has disappeared. Can't win games when you score 1 to 3 runs. Fuck. Snyder is ass. I agree. I only trust Matt Brash and Munoz. Even Gabe Spire and Legomina are the next guys that are good, but they're not trustworthy, in my opinion. And those are the best guys that we have after Brash and Munoz. And Munoz can typically only pitch at the end of the game. So, only having 1 reliable, mid reliever out of 8, 9 guys, not good. 1-0 pitch, fouled off by Luis Garcia Jr. 1 ball and 1 strike with bases loaded and 1 out. I mean, by the time the Mariners get up, fuck, we might be down 4 or 5 runs. Nice call, Dan Wilson, you fucking idiot. No, let's bring in Colin Snyder. I already knew that was a bad move as soon as I saw that he was the guy that was in. We had a better chance of keeping the game tied or giving up only 1 run if Munoz would have went 2 innings. Another fuck up by Dan Wilson. Pulling Emerson Hancock too soon and not keeping Munoz in, another inning. But again, he's better than Scott Service, but, he's doing his best impression of Scott today. Terrible. But also the Mariner bats have let us down too. Scoring 2 runs is not good enough to win a game, typically. Pitch fouled off. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Luis Garcia Jr. Fuck. 1-2 pitch. Low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Snyder to Garcia Jr. Call the farm. We need help. We need help in the bullpen, and we need help hitting. Like, how long are we going to wait before we start calling up Harry Ford, Cole Young, and others? We're going to wait until we're down 3, 4, 5 games of the Stros and in second place in the American League West? Wake up. Top of the 10th, bases loaded with 1 out. Nats take a 4-2 lead with bases loaded with a 2-2 count to Luis Garcia Jr. In play. Now it's over. And Garcia Jr. doubles to center. Why is he still in? Jesus Christ. And that brings in Wood and Lowe, 6-2 Nats. What a complete collapse here at the end of the game. Terrible. Colin Snyder? Really? That's like bringing in fucking Trent Thornton thinking that's going to be a good move. Jesus Christ. All right. Nats up now 6-2. Runners at second and third with still only 1 out. And Dan Wilson being a fucking moron, still keeping Colin in the game. And Julio Rodriguez missing another attempt in the outfield off the wall. Awesome. First pitch from Snyder to Bell, fouled off. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch. Inside with the sinker. 1 ball and 1 strike from Snyder to Bell. All good, Captain. 1-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Snyder to Bell. But now down 4 runs, we have 0% chance to win. I mean, that's real, And based on what happened in this inning, it would not shock me if we just go down with nothing. We just lose the game, whatever the score is. 6-2, 7-2, 8-2. I highly doubt that the Mariner bats are going to be motivated after Snyder fucking this game up like this. They're thinking about tomorrow and the Minnesota Twins, and we got Brian Wu on the bump tomorrow, so we'll have a very good chance to compete tomorrow. Pitch fouled off. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Snyder to Bell. And the bleeding doesn't stop, does it? And Josh Bell, back, see ya! 3-run homer by Josh Bell, 9-2 Washington. This is crazy. We won 9-1 in game 1, right? With an amazing performance by Logan Evans, 8 innings pitched, right? And we dominated. Awesome. Then we lose yesterday, 9-0, and now the Nats scored 9 again? Jesus Christ. Colin Snyder, fuck. Nice job, Dan Wilson. That was an awesome decision to make. Man, this is probably one of the worst collapses that I've seen in extra innings all season. Probably the worst. But again, that's what happens when you bring in a shitty pitcher and he gives up 7 fucking runs in the 10th. Fuck. Brutal. I was hoping for a victory walk, but that didn't happen. And the worst part about it is that we are going to end up losing the series. Old man got hit in the nutsack, off that home run, but he was able to pick up the baseball. So at least he got that. Good job, Colin, you stupid motherfucker. 7 runs. Jesus Christ. Call him Trent Thornton 2.0. Terrible. And even Trent Thornton didn't do that. Brutal. Yeah, well, at least that, we're not going to have too many collapses like this in 2025, but, it's like, it's just like yesterday after George Kirby was ass in his second start after his rehab stint. He was terrible, and every bullpen guy we brought in after that, 2 guys making their 2025 start, it's like they already gave up, and, this is what happens when you bring in the wrong guy. We could have won this game. Instead, we give up 7 runs in the 10th, and it's over. Send him to AAA. Terrible. Yeah, and it shows you, again, if pitching ends up being, good for the starting, but bullpen is not good and the hitting is not good. Changes need to be made. Otherwise, we're going to start going on a downward fucking spiral. I mean, we already are starting to kind of do that, at least hitting-wise and bullpen-wise. 0-1 pitch, takes a strike swinging, behind in the count 0-2. Bizzardo now, taking a crack at it. Like he's going to do any better. I mean, he'll be better than Colin Snyder. I mean, almost anybody on planet Earth will be better than him. I mean, it would have been nice to just give up 1 run to give us like a chance, but no chance now. And Hassel the third grounds out to the shortstop, 2 away. Yeah, but also people don't realize that T-Mobile is the hardest park to hit at. Out of every ballpark in MLB, it's the hardest, like based off stats and analytics. So, it's not ideal, for Mariner hitters or opposing hitters most of the time. First pitch by Tenna, fouled off. 0-1 count from Bizzardo. And again, you saw his stats before he pitched, but I told you, I don't like him. And again, usually my gut feeling is pretty right. I'm not going to be 100% right, but I'm going to come up with, I'm going to be right more times than not, especially watching this team for almost 40 years. I watch every game from beginning to end. So, not a good player. Terrible. And in play, and Bizzardo gets Tenna to fly out to left. But now, after Colin Snyder's dumbass gave up 7 runs, I don't expect anything here. Again, normally it's like you want the team to fight. You want them to get a couple singles, RBIs, try to get to 3 or 4 runs, at the very least. But it would not shock me if we just boom, boom, boom out of the game, and then we just have to pray that tomorrow is better. But let's see who's up to give us a shot at anything positive. Next up, 0 for 1 with a K, Leo Rivas. Batting second, 0 for 3 with a K, unacceptable, Julio Rodriguez. You needed to be better today, Julio. And batting third, 1 for 2 with a base on ball and a K, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. So, I mean, we got 3 guys that could actually get hits, but at this point, if they hit, I mean, it's going to help their stats, but it's definitely not going to help us win. But also, too, this ump was terrible. Worst ump I've seen all year. Bad decision-making by Dan Wilson, pulling Emerson Hancock too early and bringing in Colin Snyder. It's okay to let Matt Brash or Munoz pitch 2 innings, you fucking idiot. But again, Dan is better than Scott Service, but he is going to have moments like, we're looking at a mirror, like with Scott Service is still there. Be better, Dan, you fucking dummy. It's okay to have faith. It's like he has faith in the wrong guys. Like he doesn't have faith in Logan Evans and Emerson Hancock, but he has faith in these dumbasses that ends up giving up 7 runs like fucking Colin Snyder just did. You're having faith in the wrong guys, you dummy. Bottom of the 10th, 9-2 Washington. But, good game to Washington. Shout out to their fan base. They earned it. All right, take care, Megan. Well, let's see if we can get anything here. Bottom of the 10th, 9-2 Washington. But GG to all the Nat fans and the Washington Nats themselves. You guys earned it. Self-inflicted wounds by the Mariners. What can you do? We need 15 more likes. We need, what, 20 more to get to 100. Most in any inning this season, right there against the Mariners. Colin Snyder, you're terrible. First pitch, takes a strike looking, high and away. 0-1 count. Finnegan in the mound. 19 games, 0 for 1, 2.41 ERA. 0-1 pitch. Takes a strike looking in the zone, behind the count. 0-2 to Leo Ribas. Come on, Leo. Bottom of the 10th inning, ghost runner at second. Mariners down 7. All we need to do is get 8 runs this inning to win. Very doable. 7 runs to tie. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. 0-2 pitch, high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Leo Ribas. Come on, Leo. Finnegan on the mound, Leo Ribas in the box. One-two pitch, high and away. Four-seam fastball, 97 miles an hour by Finnegan. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Leo Ribas. Terrible, too, considering how good Emerson Hancock did before they pulled him. Brutal. 7 runs in the 10th. Unacceptable. Bottom of the 10th, runner at second, no outs, 9-2 Washington lead. 2-2 count to Leo Ribas. Two-two pitch. And there we go. Nice RBI by Leo Ribas. Brings in a run. 9-3 Washington. I mean, at least we're fighting, even though the game is over. And Williamson comes in to score. Nice RBI there. RBI double by Leo Ribas. Next up is Julio Rodriguez. First pitch to Julio. Takes a strike looking in the zone. 0-1 count. I mean, if we can get this to like 5, that'll help us with maybe some momentum, going into tomorrow against the Twins, and it'll make us feel a little bit better about what happened. And 7 runs, at least that they're, fighting still, which most teams wouldn't. In play. And Julio grounds out into the double play. 2 away. All right, last batter potentially for the game. Big dumper, Cal Raleigh. If Cal can go for a solo dinger and get it to 9-4, that would be great, but this might be the final. 9-3 kind of seems like this is where it's going to end. Let's go, Cal. But if Cal ends up putting up a homer, I won't be mad at that. First pitch to Cal, low and away. 4-seam fastball, 97 miles an hour by Finnegan. 1-0 count. Bottom of the 10th, 9-3 Washington. But at least nice to see Leo get the RBI double to get us to 3 rather than 2. But still a terrible, terrible performance. They're late by having Colin Snyder pitch in the 10th. I really feel bad for Emerson Hancock. He pitched a gem before he got pulled prematurely. 1-0 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and no strikes to big dumper Cal Raleigh. And we would have been fine if we would have been able to have Munoz pitch 2 innings. We wouldn't have given up 7 fucking runs. You know, we might have not won, but it would have been a lot closer. 2-0 pitch. High and away. 3-0 count to big dumper Cal Raleigh. And that's a 4-pitch walk. Cal to first with the walk. Next up for the Mariners, 0 for 4 with 2 Ks, left fielder Randy Arozarena. I mean, if we had Munoz come out in the 10th, maybe the game is tied 3-3 and then we go into extras again, you know, but we'll never know. First pitch, high and away to Randy Arozarena, who's definitely not been a very good hitter. I mean, he's been plunked a lot, you know, like Ty France when he was on our team. But as far as confidence in the box, we don't really have a whole lot for Randy. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle. 1 ball and 1 strike from Finnegan to Arozarena. You got to be able to demote, you know, Arozarena in the lineup instead of being a 4-hole hitter. They should send him, you know, somewhere around where Polo was. Maybe have Randy hit 6th or 8th. Probably 6th or 7th, somewhere in that range. Maybe Randy and Polo next to each other, low in the lineup. Takes a strike looking. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Randy Arozarena. One-two pitch, low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Finnegan to Randy Arozarena. Bottom of the 10th, 9-3 Nats with a runner at first. And again, after we, you know, got done with our 9 consecutive series win streak and it ended, you know, we went from scoring 6 runs a game for about a month and a half straight to 1 to 3 runs. And again, when you score 1 to 3 runs, you're not going to win too many games. 2-2 pitch, fouled off on a 4-seam fastball, 97 miles an hour by Finnegan. Count remains 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs with a runner at first. 1 strike away from this game ending. And we got Brian Wu on the bump tomorrow. So we're going against the Minnesota Twins. Hopefully we'll have a better showing than we do tonight. Pitches outside. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Count now is full from Finnegan to Randy. Come on, Randy, wake up. 3-2 pitch, fouled off inside, tried to jam the hitter at the knees. Count still full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, runner at first with 2 outs. Finnegan on the mound, looking for 1 more strike for this to be over. But good game to all of the Nats fans or anyone that had the Nats for the parlay. Hopefully you guys end up winning. And Mariner fans, you know, this was definitely an embarrassing loss. And again, it's all on Dan Wilson and Colin Snyder for that matter. Pitch fouled off. Count still full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Randy Arozarena. And it doesn't get any easier. We got the Minnesota Twins for a 3-game set. But we got Brian Wu on the bump tomorrow. Bryce Miller making his return back on Saturday to the team. And then La Piedra, Luis Castillo on Sunday. Hopefully we can win 2 out of 3 against the Twins. But realistically, if the Twins bats come alive and the pitching is good, we might only win 1. So hopefully we win 2, but we'll see. I don't have a whole lot of faith in Bryce Miller in his first start back from the injury. And Luis Castillo, you know, we'll see. Best chance we have for a win will probably be with Wu tomorrow. But again, we thought that we would get the win with Wu in the last start, and he ended up having an error in the first with Rivas, and we lost to the Astros 2-1. So got to be better. Pitch fouled off. And 2-2 pitch, and Randy strikes out looking, and that is the game. Oh, brutal. Good game to all of the Nats fans. Final score, Washington Nationals 9, Seattle Mariners 3. They win the series 2 games out of 3. We'll be live, obviously, tomorrow for the Mariners and the Twins. Hope everyone has a good rest of their night. And brutal collapse with Colin Snyder, but I know that we can get back on track tomorrow with Brian Wu on the mound. And I got one question for you. Who you know talk sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, and I'm out. Okay. Trident's up.